No track tests your fear like Talladega.
At Talladega, nobody knows. You just don't know what's going to happen.
But anticipation is often worse than the fear itself. In this high-stakes ride for speed and survival,
This is a mess in turn number 4.
if you hesitate, you get run over.
You're going to wreck us all blocking like that, dude.
One wrong move, and your chase hopes come crashing down.
Edwards goes up in the air.
How will you handle the fear? Do you push it aside and risk everything to move ahead?
We're back, baby.
Rely on past success and pay it no mind?
Kevin Harvick will win.
Great breaking job.
Or do you step up and face it head on?
29-11 are in your mirror. Stay after him, bud. You're going to get him.
This has been the Speedway of surprises.
Just be cool here. Go give him hell, bud. It's the only way we can make up points.
The anticipation has never been greater. Because with the tightest chase in history, the biggest fear is the unknown. And anything goes at Talladega.
Here we go, son. Be ready. Go.
The wildest of all possible wild card races in the chase for the Sprint Cup is today at the biggest, baddest, meanest track on the circuit on Halloween. What could possibly be more appropriate? A race at Talladega has always been a happening. A weekend party is wide open as the racing, and this weekend is certainly no exception. Talladega Boulevard through the infield, providing a trick-or-treating experience unlike any your children will have tonight. That energy will continue through the day as 500 miles of the most spectacular, thrilling, edge-of-your-seat racing unfolds on this giant track. For the championship contenders, will today be a treat or a cruel Halloween trick? The race begins with the chase as close as it's ever been with 4 to go. Four-time defending champ Jimmie Johnson leads Denny Hamlin by a mere 6 points. That's less than the difference between finishing first and second in this race. Kevin Harvick's only 62 points back in third. You see where they're starting today, pretty much right together. Harvick 14th, Hamlin 17th, and Johnson 19th. What makes this race such a wild card is the pack racing, the restricted engines used to limit speed in the name of safety, and this track's wide, sweeping turns that basically put the whole field in one pack, where one slip leads to the big one, a multi-car wreck for those championship leaders. That makes it a very nerve-wracking day. In a race where some drivers charge hard and some lay back and try and avoid trouble until charging late, how will the big three play it? Do they lay back? Do they go to the front? What is it going to be as this chase race unfolds today in Talladega? We hear from the big three in the championship now, starting with Jamie Little.
And Jimmie Johnson. Now, it's interesting, Jimmy, you hear so many different strategies here. You run up front. I'm going to run in the back. I'm going to run with so-and-so or not run with others. How did you strategize for today?
Until the end, you just want to be where there are less cars. And at points of the race, there's so many people riding that sometimes it's safer up front. But at the end of the day, in order to finish well, you have to go to the front. And I think we'll all be pretty calm until the end of the race, and then it's just kind of a crapshoot at that point. So we've got a great Lowe's Impala today. I know our race car is going to be very fast. And we'll just see if we can make it through that stuff at the end and have a good day there. And then also I wanted to make a quick mention to the Hunter family and also to Ed Scholl and his family. We lost 2 great people this week, unfortunately, and hopefully we can have a good finish and remember them all today.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the guy who's chasing you in the points. Of course, he's starting right in front of you. Do you hook up with Denny Hamlin to move to the front, Jimmy, or do you just go with a different drafting partner?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, you just look for people that have the same philosophy as you do at the start of the race and at different parts of the race. At the end, you know, all the friendships you build and the way everybody works together goes out the window because we all need the best finish we can get. So we'll just kind of see who it is and whoever it is and just be smart all day long and then pull them tight at the end and hope for the best.
All right, Jimmie Johnson will roll off 19th today. Dave Burns?
And when the checkers fell at Martinsville, Denny Hamlin was the winner and had evened up the chase. When the green came out here at Talladega, there he was right behind the 48, pushing him out in front of everybody else. You guys practiced together. Who learned more about the other in that first run, Denny?
I think it's equal. I think, I pushed him out there, and then I tried to switch it and get him to push me. And, so it's beneficial for both. And really, Jimmy has been one of my biggest helps here in plate races before. I've actually worked pretty well with them. So you don't want to change what works, but then again, you're not going to gain anything running behind them. So we got to just run our own race today and just see how things go.
Where in the pack, Denny, do you expect to spend most of your day?
I'd like to be first all day long, but we just know that's not possible here. So, I'm just going to try to get up front somewhat early, lead some laps, and see if we can lead the most. If we can, and we get in the middle of the pack, then you'll see me try to hit the escape button.
All right. Typical of Talladega, Dr. Jerry Punch moving around.
Well, Kevin Harvick knows this is the wild card race of the chase. And, Kevin, if you play your cards the way you did back in April and come away with the win, you could easily leave here as the points leader. But realistically, how much of your own destiny can a driver control here at this place?
Well, I think you just got to worry about the things that you control, and you go out and you try to, lead laps and put yourself in a position where you feel comfortable. That's kind of the way I try to approach it. Is if I don't feel comfortable in the situation, I'll kind of drop back and then start over and try to get around cars that I like racing around. So it's a fun race. I enjoy it. It's very strategic as far as where you put yourself, and the things you can't control are making a mistake or somebody else making a mistake and getting in that big wreck.
Teamwork and drafting partners are so important at this place. And after the heated radio chatter last week at Martinsville, what is the status of the relationship between you and your teammate, Jeff Burton?
Well, I think we both stated, multiple times this week as we went through our media sessions. We sat down Tuesday and talked about things, and I think we'll both be better from the situations. But when you have competitive teammates, things are going to happen, and this is not the first time that things have happened. And with myself and Jeff and the respect that is gained by each other as we've gone through the years, I think it's easy for us to sit down and we can fix it in about 5 minutes.
Hey, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Well, Alan, when push comes to shove, as it normally does at Talladega, Harvick and Burton will be helping each other out, which is the way it should be.
Doc, thanks. And you look at Kevin Harvick's car lined up on the grid. Harvick, Johnson, Hamlin, they all have something to lose today. The other 40, nothing to lose. It's going to be quite the interesting afternoon at Talladega, a place that legend says was haunted when it was first built, allegedly on the side of an old Indian burial ground. Don't know about the legend, but I do know they've turned our ESPN pit studio into a haunted house for the day. Welcome inside. Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, Brad Daugherty, and Ray Evernham. Thanks for joining us. In 15 seconds, describe Talladega.
That's all I got?
That's all you got.
Oh, man. Well, fast, scary, dangerous, very unpredictable. And, Brad, this place is very moody.
Oh, that's very good. As a race fan, you come to Talladega and you build fires throughout the week. And as you get up in the mornings, the smoke, it burns your eyes. The acidity from the smoke just stings at your eyes as you walk through the compound. As a driver, there's an air of fear, and it gnaws at your stomach, not only today, but leading up to today. And these guys now have to go out and run 500 miles with that gnawing in their gut.
Fear, exactly right. Not just drivers, crew chiefs, owners, everybody. And it's Halloween, more fear. Paranormal activity.
Boo, y'all. Boo, y'all. Let's get the Ghostbusters out here in a minute. Just to show you how one little moment of time can have such a big impact on a championship, we go back to this race a year ago. Jimmy Johnson running 6th. They're coming down to what will be the finish of the race. Mark Martin is a few spots behind him. They're going to play to a draw, right? The car right behind Jimmy Johnson gets hit, and it winds up with Mark on his roof.
And that ruined Mark's opportunity and chances to win a championship. Again, he ends up on his roof, ruined his day, was going to get a really good finish, but ends up going for a ride. Unbelievable opportunity.
I can't drive upside down.
Terrible.
From a half a mile to the finish line, being pretty much even on the day in points with Jimmy, to losing 66 points.
That was it.
Like that.
Yeah.
That was how this race played out a year ago. Drivers thrive on controlling their cars in situations where most of us can't. Now they're going to get out here and race where so much is out of their control. How do they deal with that?
It's very, very tough because just like you said, they have no control. They're out there running all day long. It's a pretty easy racetrack to drive, believe it or not. Everything handles good here. All of a sudden, you're just cruising along, and all of a sudden, a guy in front of you wipes out. It wipes you out. I told somebody earlier, I said, it's like bowling a strike, man. You go up there and you throw a bowl. You don't knock one pin down. You knock them all down.
Yeah.
You wipe everybody out. All drivers are freaked out coming to this track. I don't have to tell anybody that. Everything is out of your control, most of it.
One more piece of proof of how much of a wild card race this is where the championship is concerned. The Talladega results for the championship trio over the last 6 races here. The time they've been using the new car.
Wow.
Look at that.
No, that's incredible. I thought those numbers, this is the cream of the crop, guys, and I thought the numbers would be much more stellar than this. This is incredible.
But look at Harvick. At least he's got one.
Yeah, but
One
only
win.
one out of those 3.
But the finish is 20-plus in the DNFs. Anything can happen for 3 of the best in the business. That's how much this race is an unknown today. So you've heard from the 3 drivers. A little role playing here. Ray, you're Denny. Brad, you're Jimmy. Rusty, you're Kevin Harvick. How are they going to really play this race, Ray?
Well, I think Danny's going to do exactly what he said. On Friday, he really felt out how fast his car was. Obviously, it was fast, ran over 200 miles an hour with his teammate, but he knows where he is against Jimmy. He knows how fast he can go with his teammate. I think he is going to go to the front, and if he gets shuffled in the back, you'll see him headed back to the tail.
All right, Mr. Jimmy Doherty.
I'm Jimmy Johnson, and I've got the cool metrosexual beard going on, so I look really good. And I've got a fast race car. I'm starting 19th today, and what I'm going to do, simply because in 2010, I've struggled at the plate races. I finished 31st and 35th at Daytona, 31st here last time. I'm going to ease back out of the fray. I'm going to get back there about 25th, 26th, 27th, and ride with those cats and go through the sequencing throughout the day, make sure my team keeps me up to speed so I don't lose the draft. And at the end of the day, I'm going hunting, Jack. I'm coming to the front with 20 to go.
All right, Mr. Rusty Happy Harvick, how are you going to play it?
Well, I am the best restrictor plate racer in the world. That means Kevin Harvick.
Man,
because I won Daytona, and I've won Talladega, and I've done it my way. I know how to do it, and I'm going to go to the front.
Preach, man.
I'm going to stay in front all day long. You guys get out of my hair because I know what I'm doing because I won 2 here already.
I'm picking up what you're laying down, man.
All right,
I'm with
thank you.
Let's get together and draft by him.
Now, you know I was talking about Kevin Harvick.
Yes, I did.
Because I don't know how to do it at all.
Very nice. Rusty never been a big fan of that drop to the back strategy.
I have wrecked a lot here, trust me.
There you go. All right, we are having a lot of fun at Talladega, and while we're getting ready for what should be a very exciting race, I do want to pause for a moment and remember one of the giants of this sport who passed away on Friday night. Jim Hunter, who worked in the sport for over 40 years, died after a year-long fight with cancer. Jim served the sport in so many ways. He was an award-winning sports writer. He was a public relations representative, including at this track, was track president at Darlington, a place he so loved. And in his time with NASCAR, he influenced everything from regional touring series to NASCAR's program for local short tracks to the Sprint Cup Series, where among many things, he mentored young drivers in how to handle being big stars. Jim Hunter was so much to so many for so long. He'll be deeply missed. Jim was 71 years old. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Peyton Manning and the Colts try to get some revenge for their Week 1 loss to AFC South rivals, the Texans. Remember, Arian Foster ran wild in that Week 1 game. It's Texans-Colts on ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's. Lots of characters and costumes at Talladega on Halloween as we get ready for what is no doubt the spookiest race in the chase for the Sprint Cup for the championship contenders.
Well, you ain't wrong about any of what you just said.
It's been quite the scene here at Talladega today. Drivers enter a race, any race, knowing that getting into a big wreck is very much a possibility. Teams enter a race prepared to deal with the aftermath of such a wreck and gather every possible point towards the title.
Don't know where I'm headed, but I'm going too fast. I think I'm going into crash.
You hear it, you smell it, it scares you to death because it's so loud. It's an explosion.
Time doesn't slow down and all that. I think that's all made up. It's quick, it's done.
You're going to start with a full tank of hope. And then each thing that goes on, you're like, okay, just get out of the car. Thing's destroyed.
And then the aftermath of that is, how bad is the damage?
Joey Logano is around, spins down to the inside of the racetrack.
First thought is, is my driver all right? Can we get it back out? And God, we just took a hit in the points. I don't want a DNF.
If you get caught up in an accident, that just kills your day as far as acquiring any type of points leading up to the chase. Definitely once you get into the chase, if that happens, it just crushes you.
Trouble on the front stretch. A car has slammed the wall.
Well, the first thing that always comes to my mind when I wreck is thinking, man, my crew guys are going to have to work really hard to fix this one.
Every team in the chase, they're going to work until the checkered falls to get out there because, even if it's 3 points, you'd rather have them than not.
We've cut rear clips off and pretty much gone to extremes, and if it doesn't get fixed, it's because we ran out of laps, not because they couldn't fix it.
Daytona in July, they had to take the top of the oil tank off, replace the O-ring, put it back on. I lost 2 laps. That's a huge difference between, finishing 24th and finishing, 38th.
At Indy this past year, we got wrecked on the first lap. we knew if we fixed our car, we could gain 12 to 13 points. We got to pretty much duct tape and rivet a brand new nose, cone, and fenders and all this just to get like 12 points.
In Texas last year, we crashed on what I believe was a second lap. We spent a good period of time fixing that car, so we were able to gain, I think, 2 positions. So that was a total of, I think, 6 points. We've lost the championship by 8 points, so we know that every point counts.
A wreck is not something that you definitely want to put into the game plan for sure, but if it happens, you got to try to fix it the best that you can and hope that your fix is better than somebody else's down the road.
Well, that is not the place you want to be at any time during this 500 miles, but we may see a number of teams in there thrashing around after the big wreck. Rusty, your perspective as a driver on what it's like to have been in one of those big wrecks, come back through the medical center to the garage and see your crew working to fix the thing.
Well, first of all, it's the ultimate letdown. I'll tell you that. I mean, you've worked all week long to get this car going, and all of a sudden you go out there and you're completely wiped out. You're destroyed. You're losing points. You're going through all these things going, hey, I can't believe this just happened. Why me? You're kicking the side of the car. You're mad. You're upset. You're frustrated. Then all of a sudden your crew guys grab a hold of you and said, hey, man, we're going to get this thing back in. Calm down, buddy. Okay, I'm calm now. I'm back together. And you go back out there and you work really, really hard and you drive good to get all the points you possibly can, because it's all about getting those points.
A lot of meaning to what those points are for different teams in different places.
Yeah, I mean, we always focus on what's going on in the chase and up front, but the most important position in the entire field, in my opinion, is 35th. If you're inside of that top 35 in the Cup Series, you have an opportunity to go to Daytona the following year, fully sponsored and ready to race. I mean, your sponsors, the people who help support what you do, want to have a guaranteed spot to go to Daytona. You look at the point system right now, that 35th position here, 36th position, missed the race this weekend, so that's going to be a huge jump for the team in 35th position. They're going to gain a lot of points, as well as Robbie Gordon possibly. So that, to me, the race within a race, that 35th position is the most important race in the entire field.
And again, every position, every point
Absolutely.
counts.
Yeah.
How detailed, Ray, are the plans for what to do and what to repair in the event of a car being in a wreck today?
Well, very detailed, Alan. This is something a team spends a lot of time with, and to do it properly, you've got to turn your garage into a NASCAR race car repair facility. What you'll do is pull your car back in the garage there, where there will be special equipment waiting for you. Things you don't normally see, like this frame straightener for heavy frame damage. You see some body parts of rear spoiler laying there. Also in that garage is what we call a crash cart. That cart right there is self-sufficient. It has a generator, a welder, and many different car parts on it. Some of the other things that you'll see sitting inside the garage area there, especially for here where aerodynamics are so critical, is that complete nose cone for the car. There is a minimum speed here that they have to maintain. Aerodynamics are very, very important. One of the other things that you don't see there is a list. This is something that the teams actually practice and time. Everybody's got an assigned job, so heaven forbid the crew chief says on the radio, or you hear the spotter say, we're in it, boys, take it to the garage. You know your job, you get there, get to that crash cart and start getting parts and pieces ready.
And by the way, no accident. We were looking at the 48 team being as prepared as they could be in case they get caught up in something today. Best line of the weekend so far. When we were preparing our discussion of this issue, Rusty said,
forget the crash cars, because every wreck I've ever had, you can't fix it.
So there you go.
That's too much stuff to haul around, man. When I wreck here, it's a bad one.
And no doubt we'll see some of those highlights today. Our J-Ski news and notes now. A couple of stories making news this week. One of the top stars has a new interesting sponsorship package for next year. The AARP Foundation Drive to End Hunger will back Jeff Gordon's effort for Hendrick Motorsports for 22 races. DuPont will be back to begin their third decade with the team. They'll back to 24 in 14 races. Trevor Bayne, the Young Nationwide Series rising talent, gets a shot at a Sprint Cup race next week. He'll be in the Wood Brothers 21 at Texas. And the drama around the future of the Richard Petty Motorsports team continues to swirl. Petty continues to work at finding backers to take over or continue the team in some way, while rumors persist as to whether or not they'll continue to be present at upcoming races, all four Richard Petty Motorsports cars here at Talladega and in the field.
Hey, Brad, how old is Jeff Gordon now?
He's 50, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, asking about his AARP card. I'm not going there. The last Talladega race was a record setter. Is that the dinger?
That's Boris.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Drivers participating in the Halloween festivities here as they get ready for driver introductions. Coming up, the last Talladega race was a record setter. Most lead changes and leaders in a NASCAR race ever. We'll tell you why we could see those numbers challenged today. Plus, Carl Edwards tells us why you shouldn't count out anyone, including himself, from this championship until this race is finished. That's next on NASCAR Countdown from Talladega.
The Daugherty family reunion.
There was a little frost on the pumpkin this morning at Talladega Superspeedway, but it is warming to a wonderful Halloween afternoon for 500 miles of racing at the world's fastest speedway. Carl Edwards starts this race 6th in the championship, 213 points off the lead. That's a lot with 4 races to go. But Carl and his team believe the element of the unknown at this track leaves room to believe the title is still a possibility for them.
Everybody but the guys who are racing for points are pumped to go to Talladega. The reason that is because Talladega is a huge unknown.
Trouble on the racetrack.
Really is dependent upon who's racing around you and who's working with you. Pretty wide. A majority of the outcome is usually based on someone else.
Look at what happened with Brad and I in 2009. And I'm driving along thinking, cool, I'm going to finish first or second. This is wonderful. 200 yards from the finish line, disaster strikes.
He turns it! No!
And everything changed. You race, and then you get to Talladega, and you throw the dice.
It's out of your control. But once they get in 4 wide in Talladega, it's up to Carl Edwards and his ability to drive.
I don't know what being in an avalanche feels like, but that's kind of how it feels. It's like you're part of this big mass moving. You look in the mirror, there's somebody pushing in, there's some guy over here, and there's some guy over there, and there's, you can't see past the guy in front of you. Clear. Feels like a lot of energy the whole time built up, a lot of energy that you hope keeps going the same direction.
You might as well just put all the numbers in a ball and draw them out that way like a lottery. You don't count anything until that flag falls, and that's when you count it.
If you're in the position we're in, 200 points behind or so, you go into Talladega thinking, all right, this is an opportunity. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to take advantage of these other guys who can't be aggressive, and maybe we're going to come out with something.
Well, if you look at the Talladega races during the chase, 2004 to present, you see the number of championship drivers involved in the big wreck in that right-hand column. Look at the last 2 years.
Oh, that's incredible. 6
of the 12 chase drivers have been involved in one of the multi-car pileups in this event. Some odds to ponder as we get ready for this 500-miler. Couple of former Talladega winners, Dale Jarrett and Andy Petrie, join us from the booth now where they're getting ready to call the race. Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon. Are they just clinging to hope here, or do they really have a chance to get back in this thing after today, Andy?
Well, they do have hope. I mean, they are clinging to something real because this track, you can gain 100 points in the blink of an eye. So they can come out of here with some momentum of gaining points, and then they think they can go forward and maybe beat these guys and maybe challenge for this championship. I think there is hope.
Well, yeah, you don't ever want to give up, but there's not much hope there. And the hope is not there because they haven't really shown the ability when we go past Talladega here of being able to outrun these 3 guys that are at the top at the other racetracks that are coming up. So there's still hope there. That's all that they have to go on right now.
You heard what Carl had to say in the piece and his teammates about what a Talladega race is like. From your perspectives, driver and crew chief, what'll this day be like?
It's going to be very nerve-wracking from the pit box. I don't know what it's like for the driver to sit in that car all day, but when you're on that pit box, you're seeing these cars running these big packs, and you're wondering, it can happen now, it can happen anytime, and you never can rest. But also, you feel like you got a chance. You feel like every lap you've got a chance to win. You're still in contention, but it is a very long race for a crew chief, very stressful.
Yeah, I think you put it perfectly for the driver, nerve-wracking. It's the most nerve-wracking racing that you'll do. But what you have to hope for is that you can get yourself in a position to challenge in those last 5 or 10 laps of the race to where you can try to make the right moves to get yourself in a position to try to win this race. And just as Andy put it, every driver here feels like they have that opportunity. So you have to stay around and watch all 188 because we don't know what's going to happen.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for the thought, and maybe more than 188, by the way.
Yeah.
We're last couple times. Thanks for the thoughts, and don't get too comfy up there because I know you'll be standing most of the day. I mentioned Kyle Busch a minute ago. Yesterday, he won the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race here at Talladega. Barely. That's Busch in the 18, second in line. Eric Almirola in the 51. Coming to the checkers.
He is sideways. That truck is wrecked. He saves that truck. It's incredible. Watch him come back. and he just barely beats Eric Almirola across the line. Unbelievable driving.
Luce is fast.
Almirola cried foul, saying Busch went below the out-of-bounds line to pass it. NASCAR said all good. I agree. Kyle wanted a thriller. He tries again today from 32nd starting spot, Vince Welch.
Always seems to be a wild finish here at Talladega. Certainly you saw Kyle get it done in the truck last night. How do you determine a strategy for a wild card place like Talladega?
You don't. You just you let it play by ear. You just kind of go out there and have a good day. You try to keep yourself in position all day, whether you run in the back or whether you kind of run up front. If things start to get crazy, maybe you fall back a little bit and just kind of relax. But you got to be there at the end. In order to finish first, you first must finish.
Yeah, well said. He's won here before. Looks to do it again today, Alan.
32nd starting spot for Kyle Busch today. Up the front, leading this field to the green, will be Juan Pablo Montoya. When we come back, we will talk to the man who will start on the pole for today's race. That is coming up on the Halloween edition of NASCAR Countdown from Talladega, where you never know what you might see.
I'm going to tell you what's really scary.
Yeah.
Is I have seen people that look much worse here when it wasn't Halloween.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
If nothing else, this has been the Speedway of surprises. 16 Talladega races, including 5 of the last 9, were decided by a pass on the last lap.
Ready, green flag. 39 and 14 made it really bad that time. 48 and 11 are on the bottom. They've hooked up together and they're starting to make a big move now.
You are watching the most competitive race in the 60-plus year history of NASCAR. 29 different leaders.
16's coming back your way. Outside only. Outside only.
And around goes Jimmy. 48. Yellow flag is out. We still don't have a race, boys.
This is the third and final attempt at a green-white checker. Harvick, one of the best closers in the business on a super speedway, on his back bumper.
What you got to do here, keep coming all the way down. You can beat him.
Last chance through the trial.
Here he comes. Here they come. Harvick. It's Harvick. He got him. He trapped him perfect.
Hell of a job, buddy. One hell of a job. Woo! Awesome job, guys. Awesome job. I mean, that played out to the T.
His wife, Delana, in disbelief as Harvick snaps a 115-race winless streak.
What an incredible day it was here on April 25th when the first of this year's 2 races was run at Talladega, and conditions ripe for another record-setting day as this unpredictable 500 miles unfolds at the world's fastest speedway. Driver introductions ongoing. Being unpredictable kind of makes it tough to pick a winner, but a really good guess would be either Jamie McMurray or Kevin Harvick. Look at the numbers there. They won the last 4.
Got them covered, boys.
Yep, they won the last 4 restrictor plate races between them. And by the way, McMurray first, and second in 3 of the last 4. We've already heard from Harvick. McMurray starts 12th today, Jamie.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wild card race. Of course, your name is on top of the list for wild card winner. Jamie, with 2 restrictor plate wins in the last year, how would you describe to people at home what it's like racing for the win here versus a typical track?
Well, this is the one track that we come to here, and here more than even Daytona, that your heart races just thinking about it. It's really hard to explain to people, but I sat in the motorhome yesterday watching the truck race, and then you lay in bed this morning thinking about what's going to play out today, and your heartbeat just races because of the unknowns and also the excitement that goes into this. And it's a tough racetrack because you really race the first 490 miles just trying to get in the right position for that last 10-mile stretch. And I led this race until right at the end in the spring, and I don't really know what I could do different. Today, if I could have it played out, I would like to be the guy in second, pushing the leader to the start-finish line.
All right, Jamie McMurray will roll off 12th today. Dave?
And Juan Pablo Montoya has enjoyed the Halloween weekend so far, gone trick-or-treating with the wife and kids. They painted his face. Fortunately, that all came off. I got to ask about time in the race car, though. 6 timed laps on the track all weekend long other than qualifying. Are you prepared to win today?
I think we got a good car. The drafting here is all about picking the right lane and the right friends and pushing the right time. And one day you got to look after the car. But I think the target shape is pretty strong. We put on pole beam and race trim that is pretty good. We'll see. We'll see how it plays. It's all about being in the right time when the big one happens. Hopefully you can avoid it and go from there.
Alan, he mentioned being on the pole. He finished third here in April. He's had some good runs here at Talladega.
He'll be a tough one today, David, and that 42 car lined up in the number 1 spot on the grid. April, the spring race, as everybody likes to call it. 29 of the 43 drivers led the race. 88 lead changes just at the start-finish line, let alone elsewhere on the lap.
Incredible.
What was different last time, and will we see that kind of thing again today?
I will think you will see it again today, no doubt about that. But I think the biggest difference was probably the rear spoiler they had on the car. It really poked a big hole in the air, made for a lot of turbulence, and made for the guy right behind able to really draft up on him and really make those cars run faster. Let's face it, this new car lets the front bumpers line up really good, and because of that, they're running wide open bumper to bumper and pushing each other all the way around this racetrack now.
Well, you've got, Sam Hornish Jr., Dave Blaney, Joe Nemechek. You got some guys, Casey Mears, who are up front, who haven't been up front in a long time. They're going to want to try to get out front and get a little of that clean air on their nose and lead some of these laps. So I think we're going to see a very intense, exciting race early because these cats are hungry and they want to be up there sniffing some of that clean air, getting out front, getting the big TV time.
A phenomenon we've seen with this new car, and particularly lately, the 2-car breakaway. Remember Carl Edwards and Brad Keselowski charging to the front. In practice, we saw the 2-car freight train. Why does this happen, Ray, with this configuration of car?
Mere physics, young Skywalker. the front car blocks the air for the back car. These cars, the bumpers line up really well. They can stay hooked up all the way around the racetrack. You hear that freight train, you've got 2 locomotives pulling. It's more horsepower for a given amount of drag. Makes both cars go faster. Simple as that, Alan.
Denny Hamlin and Jimmy Johnson working together in the draft on Friday and then talking about it afterwards. Can those 2 cars pull away from the front of the field, or is this just a rallying tool?
No, they could definitely pull away, but I just don't see a Chevrolet and a Toyota helping each other. I mean, I just don't think it's going to happen.
All right. When a driver's running in a tight draft, he's got to look out for a couple things, the engine particularly. For more on that, let's go to our Craftsman Tech Garage. Wonder what kind of spooky things Tim Brewer's got hanging around in there. Tim?
Thanks, AB. One of the most efficient things you can have on a race car here at Talladega is tape. This tape makes the car run faster, but what you have to be concerned with is the water temperature. Trick or treat there, Andy. How you onto that for me? Another thing, fuel distribution right here. When the guys check the distribution in the cylinders, the throttles are wide open. What that is 100%. Anytime a guy throttles the throttle area right here, he changes his distribution in the manifold right here. Anytime you change the rate of air and fuel, you run a higher risk of burning a piston. Guys?
Is that me down there, Brewer, with that
Looks just like you. I told you this place is haunted.
Andy's a pumpkin head.
Come on, guys.
I love the goatee. All right, Tim, thank you. Keeping the engine intact, something the drivers will have to concern themselves with today. Denny Hamlin lost an engine in this race last year. We'll see if mechanical gremlins play a role.
Oh, very nice.
And how the 2-car draft plays into chase race number 7 today at Talladega as we get set to go racing on a beautiful Halloween afternoon in Alabama.
Let's get it on, man. Let's go racing.
The trophy all set to go out there by the grid. Someone's going to claim that after a few more races. Today's race might play a big role in determining that.
500 miles of hold-your-breath, white-knuckle stock car racing, folks. This is Talladega.
Talladega, baby!
I love Talladega.
Talladega is a great racetrack. I love going there in the spring. I absolutely hate going there in the fall.
Whoa, around goes Jimmy Johnson!
As a competitor, it sucks.
I used to feel bad when I'd say, hey, I don't like racing at Talladega. But I think that makes the fans like it even more.
Speed, the crashes, the bump drafting, it's unbelievable to watch.
There's not a driver that's ever raced at Talladega that doesn't equate Talladega to wrecks.
Wreck. That's all I do there. I just wreck. So it's going to be hard to get through Talladega.
Cowboys pushes around.
He tried. He just couldn't hang on to it.
Hey, that's what makes it exciting. You never know when that dice is going to roll and when they're going to have the big one.
The big one. You got to survive the big wreck there. And there's nothing we can do about it. We just hope we're the fortunate ones to finish.
Oh, it's going to be a bad wreck.
It's the big one.
Anything can happen there. Anybody can be taken out early. And it can hurt Chase's chances very easily.
Talladega is just one of those necessary evils of the chase.
Can kill somebody's opportunity to win a championship, which they've worked all year for. because they can be caught up in somebody else's wreck.
I think the drivers need to suck it up and drive that track, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the way that track's made to beat it.
Fans love it. Drivers have their qualms, especially the top contenders for the title. But race at Talladega, they will for 500 miles on a beautiful October afternoon. Drivers being shown around this massive track after being introduced to the crowd.
Suck it up and drive that.
Suck it up and drive that thing.
Interesting to note that the first 6 races of this year's championship have produced 6 different winners. Those 6 drivers, all pretty good candidates to win today. On the other hand, there are plenty of good candidates to keep the different winner streak going today, too. Let's hear from one of those. Vince is with Jeff Burton.
Jeff Burton has been top 5 the last 2 chase races here at Talladega. So much is talked about getting the right partner and drafting and picking the partner. What makes a good drafting partner at Talladega?
Being in the right place at the right time. I mean, you can plan all you want, but the reality of it is if you're not together at the right time, it doesn't work out. So really what it boils down to is who's where, when. And, you obviously have some people that will help you and trust. But at the end of the day, everybody's out for their own good. So they're going to do what they got to do. And you just got to hope they go with you. And you got to do something that's in their best interest. If you put yourself in a position that's going to harm them, they're not going with you. You got to put yourself in a position where they can gain something too. It's got to be a win-win. And there's nobody here going to help you if it's going to hurt them. I can promise you that.
Thanks, Jeff. Hope it's fun for you. He led the most laps here in April, but he ended up 32nd. He hopes for a better ending today, Alan.
Jeff starting in 5th position, Vince. Thanks. They call Jeff Burton the mayor, right? Election day is Tuesday. All the political ads on television. Let's talk politics. No, not that kind. The politics of the draft. You just heard about it from the mayor a minute ago. Last Sunday at Martinsville, Jeff Burton and Kevin Harvick, teammates for Richard Childress Racing, had a little bit of an exchange on the racetrack and on the radios. You heard Kevin Harvick address it earlier. How does it play on the racetrack today?
Well, today I think they're going to forget about what happened last week, that's for sure. They already had a talking about that. But if they possibly can try to help each other today, that's the key thing. Look, Kevin Harvick's going for a championship. Yeah. Jeff Burton's going for a championship. Richard Childress wants them both to work really good together. So hopefully that bad blood from last week is gone. And if it's not, it needs to be.
Same theme, different twist. In the April race here, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson had a little confrontation on the racetrack. Jimmy moves down, try and get in front of Jeff's line. Jeff gets knocked around below the yellow line. By the time he regroups, he gets into circumstances that lead to him getting wrecked. And Gordon had some kind of harsh words for Jimmy afterwards. How will that last race here play into this race for teammates 24 and 48?
Well, Jeff's not going to help him. It's got nothing to do with that, though. That's always been Jeff's theory. And to a point, he's right. You cannot control what happens out there. Everybody's moving around so much that if you're worried about helping your teammate, you're going to hurt yourself. So if they can help during the day and it comes easy, yes. For the win, no.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, that's for sure. Jeff Gordon has come back from his lap around the racetrack. He's talking to the boss, Rick Hendrick, there along pit road. Gordon, a good candidate to possibly wind up in victory lane today here in Talladega. Let's hear from Jeff down on the grid with Dr. Jerry Punch. Doc?
Yeah, Rick Hendrick walking up to give Jeff a good luck hug here before we climb in the car. And Rick and Jeff talking about some of the great moments they've had here over the years with 6 victories at Talladega. And we'll jump in here. Jeff, after the disappointment last week at Martinsville, you now sit just a little over 200 points back, 5th in the standings. Now, what's the mindset today? Can you lay back and play it safe, or do you have to attack and go in that Hail Mary mode?
Well, this is Talladega, and here at Talladega, I mean, there's no set strategy that's going to win you the race. We're in the mode of trying to win races. We've been in that mode all year long, and we've been close at times, and other times we haven't. But, I think for us, qualifying this far back with the DuPont National Guard Chevrolet, I think that might change our strategy going into this race versus what we were looking at going into the weekend. So we might fall back here a little bit and see how it plays out. But in the closing laps, if you're in position, you got to be super aggressive, and I think that holds true for basically everybody out here, even those guys in the points. I mean, once you get into those last 5 laps, if you're going to have a shot at a top 5 or a win, you got to be aggressive, put yourself in position that you don't want to be in, that you're not comfortable with. But that's the only way you can finish this race out. So there's no safe route, that's for sure. And we're not in any kind of safe mode, but we certainly want to be there when it counts at the end.
Hey, good luck today.
All right, thank you.
Alan, he starts back in 31st position.
Got a long way to go.
Boy,
but
he really does.
a long time to get there,
It's
too.
a long day, but he knows how to do it if anyone does.
Sounds like he's going to stay in the back.
Yeah, I think so.
We'll see what the strategy is. We'll see who's happy, who's mad at the end of the day. And if Kurt Busch can finally get that restrictor plate win, he's come so close so many times.
Only one guy will be happy, Alan.
This is true. And it's not the guy that's selling you concessions throughout the course of 500 miles. Of course. Check it out. The world's fastest speedway, 2 2/3 miles around. Talladega Superspeedway, where the green flag flies in 28 minutes on today's 500 mile. That'll tell us a lot about what this year's championship is going to look like. Back to the grid to hear from a former Talladega winner, Jamie.
He absolutely etched his name in the history books, winning his first ever start here in the Cup Series, winning again this last April in the Nationwide car, Brad. So whether it's friends or teammates, how do you decide who you're going to draft with?
Whoever you think you can get the front with first, and a lot of times it's just situations where you want to work with your teammate or you've got somebody picked out, but the situation doesn't develop. So you have to make the move that best works for you. So I think our Dodge is pretty good. Hopefully all the Penske Dodges have been good all week, but hopefully we can find the right cars. Hopefully my teammate Kurt Busch and his Miller Lite Dodge and draft up to the front and find ourselves in victory lane.
Well, good news for you. You're starting 11th and your teammate is starting right ahead of him. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. Time for our Bush's Beans recipe for success now. There's been a lot of recipes cooked up in this Talladega infield over the course of the weekend, but this is one about success on the racetrack today. The first ingredient seems kind of obvious, but miss the big wreck. Got to stay out of trouble if you want to see the checkered flag.
You absolutely have to miss the big one if you want to be there to see the checkered one, just like you said.
Watch
and it's
Jimmy
going to
Johnson
happen.
here.
You just have to avoid it. Look at Jimmy Johnson tucking, ducking, bobbing, weaving, and doesn't even get touched through all that carnage. It's unbelievable.
How'd he do that?
Lucky is what it is.
Rusty, time your move. Want to be moving forward when it counts the most.
Oh, yeah, you really got to be careful doing this, too. You got to keep the momentum going. You can't get blocked or stopped. You really got to keep rolling and time that move perfect, just like Kevin Harvick did when he won here, barely beat Jamie McMurray.
Jimmy Johnson, 31st with 15 to go last year. He finished 6th. Ray, getting to the pits and in the pits can be a headache.
Oh, yeah, mistake-free pit road starts before you get there. Coming off the racetrack at 180 miles an hour, downshifting, locking the tires up. You got to be careful. Watch right here. Jeff Gordon goes to the inside, the 07 car. Boom, body damage. That slows you down. And when you get there, you can't make a mistake. If you lose time under green here, you could lose the draft. That's going to put you out of contention.
So we'll keep an eye for mistake-free pits for today. And the last ingredient for a recipe for success today, stay out of the infield.
Man, if you find yourself in the infield with your race car, you've had a bad day. And if you find your physical being on Talladega Boulevard in the infield, you've had a rough time. Stay away from this place at all costs, believe me. It is a recipe for success to stay out of Talladega Boulevard.
Oh, I'm telling you what, it has been a sight here this weekend at Talladega. A good dose of luck added to that recipe will help quite as well. Denny Hamlin hoping for that good dose of luck today and hoping to perhaps take the championship lead away from Jimmy Johnson after these 500 miles. Brad, you didn't Sam Hordish with his daughter on pit road. You didn't tell me you were out in the infield trick-or-treating earlier this morning.
I'll tell you what, I ate so much candy last night that I feel like this guy looks.
There you are.
I feel like that guy.
Talladega, it means speed, it means competition. The body trying to make a move, but it cannot do it. They're still side by side as they come by. Bobby Allison wins the Winston 500.
The sweetest victories are the first-time winners.
Here comes Gordon on the outside.
Can Keselowski try to win it?
He's going to the outside. His head was going. No, he turns him. No. Here he comes. Here they come.
Here they come.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Awesome job, guys. Awesome job. I mean, that played out to the seat.
Talladega Talladega, designed by NASCAR founder Big Bill France to be bigger and faster than Daytona from its early days. It's given us amazing, unpredictable racing, and that's the setting in which today's race will unfold. Let's hear from Kurt Busch. He's with Dave.
And looking for his first restrictor plate win, Alan. Kurt, the two-car breakaway, we've talked about it a lot today. How big a weapon for you in today's race?
It's vital to win, I think, especially here at Talladega with these new cars. Back in 08, when me and my teammate Ryan Newman tried it out for the first time, it just picks up so much speed, and there's just no better way to team up than with a teammate. So hopefully my Penske Dodges will be up there today, and Sam, Brad, myself will all have a shot at this at the end. It's all about putting yourself in position, and we got a great Miller Lite Dodge to do it with.
And he's right about that great Dodge. Best starting spot of all so far at this track for Kurt. Third today, Alan.
All right, thank you, David. So as we get set to go, reminder, grab your remote control. Our coverage of the race moves over to ESPN in just about a minute or so. You will want to be with us for that because there's going to be plenty of action to see. Got a final thought before we turn them loose?
Yeah, I mean, I put myself in a driver's seat right now. I really am. And I'm thinking, what have I got to do to finish this thing? And I got to give myself an out during the race. If the big red happens, I got to get out of it. And above all, think about the last lap, man, and get all the points I can. That's when the race is going to be won.
As a fan, as I sit to watch this race today, I'm just curious. When will it happen? When will the big one happen? Will it happen early? Will it happen late? When will it happen?
Guys, in 500 miles, but I'm going to tell you the longest distance a driver's going to feel today is crossing the center of the tri-oval to the start-finish line on that last lap. All the actions come down to in the races that we've seen.
Well said.
It's a place with a history of late drama. 6 of the last 10 at Talladega have been won with a last lap pass. It's a place that's been a chase twister. Last year, 6 of the 12 chasers involved in an incident in this race. And it's a place where edge of your seat action is the story. And against that backdrop, the closest championship with 4 races to go plays out over 500 miles.
4 races left in the closest chase ever for the Sprint Cup. Jimmy Johnson in search of his 5th straight title, leading Denny Hamlin by only 6 points. NASCAR and Talladega right after countdown here on ESPN. A final thought for this.
The biggest, baddest, fastest track in NASCAR hosts Race 7 in the chase for the Sprint Cup today. Welcome to ESPN's live coverage of the Amp Energy Juice 500 from the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. At 2 2/3 miles around, this giant track means drafting and pack racing, exciting for the fans, tense and difficult for the drivers, and more so than any other race, if the big one happens and a championship contender's in it, it can alter his entire season's worth of work in the blink of an eye. Let's go trackside for the opening ceremony.
In recognition of the 100th anniversary of the Boy Scouts of America, please rise and remove your hats as the Boy Scout Troop 137, representing the Chehaw District of the Greater Alabama Council, presents our nation's colors. Ladies and gentlemen, the NASCAR family has lost 2 great individuals this week with the passing of Jim Hunter and Ed Schull. Jim Hunter was the Vice President of Corporate Communications for NASCAR with a career that spanned portions of 6 decades, including here at Talladega and at Darlington Raceway. Ed Schull was a long-time public relations figure in the sport, most recently with Gatorade. We ask that you remain standing and join us in a moment of silence in remembrance of Jim Hunter and Ed Schull. Now please welcome Alabama Raceway Ministries volunteer Randy Norris as he offers today's invocation.
God, we come to you today thanking you for this beautiful day at Talladega Superspeedway. God, I pray for our servicemen and women serving here and around the world. I thank you today for each driver, the crew members, the track personnel, and every fan here. God, may we have a safe and exciting race. God, as we watch this chase for the championship, remind us there's a greater prize to be won, and that's the prize of knowing you, Jesus, as Savior and Lord. Thank you for loving us, dying for us, and rising again. I pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Performing today's national anthem, please welcome Average Joe's recording artist, Josh Grayson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the peril this fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
What a scene. And now as the drivers climb aboard their cars and begin to buckle in, they know that at this track more than any other during the year, the success or failure of their day lies as much in luck as it does in their skill. Drivers that thrive on their ability to control a car when most of us can't will be in the middle of a snarling, growling pack where the actions of one can affect the fate of others, where a season's worth of work can be compromised by another driver's mistake. That's not overstating anything. It's what happens in the draft at Talladega at 200 miles an hour for 500 miles. And it starts next.
And Energy Juice 500 at Talladega is brought to you by The Legend of Talladega. Watch the Filmette by Terry Gilliam, featuring David Arquette and Dale Jr. at legendoftalladega.com. Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile 5-year powertrain limited warranty. And Bank of America. NASCAR fans should appreciate the speed of our ATM deposits. No deposit slip, no envelope, quick and easy.
No track tests your fear like Talladega.
At Talladega, nobody knows. You just don't know what's going to happen.
But anticipation is often worse than the fear itself. In this high-stakes ride for speed and survival,
This is a mess in turn number 4.
if you hesitate, you get run over.
You're going to wreck us all blocking like that, dude.
One wrong move, and your chase hopes come crashing down.
Edwards goes up in the air.
How will you handle the fear? Do you push it aside and risk everything to move ahead?
We're back, baby.
Rely on past success and pay it no mind?
Kevin Harvick will win.
Great braking job.
Or do you step up and face it head on?
2911 are in your mirror. Stay after him, bud. You're going to get him.
This has been the Speedway of surprises.
Just be cool here. Go give him hell, bud. It's the only way we can make up points.
The anticipation has never been greater. Because with the tightest chase in history, the biggest fear is the unknown. And anything goes at Talladega.
Here we go, son. Be ready. Go.
What could be more fitting in this year's chase for the Sprint Cup than Halloween at Talladega, the one race that could haunt the contenders for the Cup more than any other, and a track that can at times be a house of horrors for some. We're almost set to go with the Amp Energy Juice 500 from the world's fastest speedway. And from the pit studio, Alan Bestwick with Rusty Wallace, Brad Daugherty, and Ray Evernham. Final thought before they fire them up.
This is the only time I can ever remember coming to Talladega where there's only 6 points between the guys going for it. It's the most dangerous track. Guys, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to be getting ready to come down.
I said it earlier in the day. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we've got guys like Dave Blaney, Joe Nemechek, Sam Hortis Jr. starting up front. They haven't done that at all this year. And half of our chase field starts 23rd on back.
Hey, guys, it's coming from the distance in the center of the tri-oval to the start-finish line. Quarter of a mile.
That's where it all gets decided. Time for the engines to get amped up. We go trackside for the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Amp Energy Grand Marshal Contest winners as they deliver the most famous words in motorsports.
Start your engine!
Train them up, gang. Train them up. All right, up when you're ready. Cut your Fired up. We got you guys up here. Yeah, man.
Time to go racing at Talladega on Halloween, which means it's time for us to go upstairs to a man who knows all about the tricks or treats at this track. He's a former winner here, and two guys dressed like characters in the NASCAR episode of South Park. The animators came pretty close. Here are Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Hello again, everybody. We'll get you later. Let's talk about strategies here for the three guys that are in contention for the chase right now. You either have to run up front and stay ahead of the crash, or you got to lay back. Who's going to do what?
Well, there's all kinds of strategies that you can use here, but I think Kevin Harvick is going to use that one to staying out front. He's got a great race car. I talked to Richard Childress yesterday. He said he got three great cars. They're going to run up front, try to lead as many laps as possible, and win this race. That's the way he's going to close this gap on those two leaders, and he's hoping that he can do that today.
Yeah, he may come right out of here with the points lead, but I look for Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin kind of go to the back, hang out. I think if I could advise them, that's what I would do. It's not what you want to do as a racer. Sometimes you have to do what's best in trying to win a championship. Today's not about winning this race. It's about coming out of here with a chance in the last three of winning the championship.
But let's talk about the other 40 drivers, because they've got their own agenda.
Oh, and what a great opportunity they have. This is one of those races that everybody in the field feels like they can win it. They're going to go out there and try to lead laps. They haven't been able to do that all year. They're going to have a chance to do that and possibly pull off that win.
And that's exactly what makes this so exciting, is to know that you have an opportunity. Some of these guys are looking at an opportunity they haven't had and won't have again this year to go to victory lane. They're going to do everything it takes. And we never know when that big wreck may occur. That's why you got to watch all 188 laps, because you don't want to miss a thing.
And as Cartman said on South Park, get out of my way. I'm trying to win this dang thing. Let's talk to one of the guys who wants to win this thing. How about our in-race reporter, Dale Earnhardt Jr.? He's going to start 6th today, DJ.
Dale Jr., Dale Jarrett, do you have a copy?
Yeah.
Hey, man, our first question comes from our ESPN mailbag, and Dylan in Atlanta, Georgia asked you 7 of 18 races that you've won in the Sprint Cup Series have come at Daytona and Talladega. Why do you have more success than most of your peers on restrictor plate tracks?
I've had some awesome cars, you know. I mean, we made the right moves at the end of the race, but the car was good enough to make them. And with Tony Jr. and Tony Sr. all the way up till the Hendrick equipment I'm driving today, I've always had really solid stuff every time I come here.
Hey, Junior, talking about that Hendrick organization, we know how teamwork is talked about there. Has anything been said about the opportunity to help Jimmy Johnson possibly late in the race make up as many spots, or are you just saying, okay, if that opportunity's there, we'll take it if it should arrive?
Yeah, it's just an opportunity kind of thing. You know, it's going to, the odds of us being able to team up, being in position to team up, aren't going to be awesome. But if we happen to be in that position, I'd like to help him. But he knows just as well as I do that everybody's trying to win the race, and that's what we're here to do. But if we can help our teammate, man, we're going to do that. We're going to try to keep them toward the front when they need it, if that's what lays in front of us. But we're not, you know, if you go out of your way to do things, try to construct situations like that, you can get yourself in trouble.
All right, Junior, thanks for talking with us. Good luck in your quest to go to victory lane today, and we'll talk to you later on.
Appreciate it.
Our over-the-wall reporters, Mark Hollywood Armstrong. He's a front tire changer for Robbie Gordon's number 7. Hello, Hollywood, and got a question for you. No, normally we're talking about speed on pit road, but today it's more about precision, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Marty. Today, you can throw the speed out the window. You got to keep your driver in it. You got to keep him in the draft. You got to keep him with the partners that he wants to run with all day long. These might be some of the tools we can use today to help do that. But if we have to pull these tools out, it's not going to be a good day for us. So it is Halloween, and it is trick-or-treat night. So, guys, let's just reach in the bag today and see what it'll pull out for us with this race team today.
All right. You be safe down there and focus on what you need to do. All right, let's take a look at the rest of our onboard cameras as we've got Denny Hamlin, Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Marcus Ambrose, Jimmy Johnson. We've already talked to Dale Jr. and Carl Edwards. So you know what it means. That music says it's time to go green, and that's next after this message from AMP.
on this episode of The World of the Unexplained.
This joint is spooky. It's built on an Indian burial ground.
The shaman put a very specific curse on the ground.
I've seen some things happen there you just can't believe.
This phantom car came out of nowhere.
I'm not trying to pick you out, just the truth.
I want everybody to know what I saw.
There might be something strange going on.
And later, we speak to the most disputed mind in paranormal research, Kayash Monsef. Join us as we dive into the world of the unexplained.
Welcome to the world of the unexplained. We're here at Talladega to unravel the mystery of the Talladega 500 race once and for all. We've assembled several crews to probe the jinx of this racetrack. The legend, the facts, the tall tales, the fables, and the terrifying. What is the truth? And what is truer than the truth?
Ask any real fan. There's nothing like the Talladega 500.
They say it was built on Indian burial ground. Well, I'm half Indian, and I don't like that.
So if there's evil here, do you think the curse might be punishment or a retribution?
I don't really know. Only God knows.
You know, no matter where it is in the lunar cycle, the moon's always full at Talladega. Locals say the astronomers come down there to study that phenomenon, and they go mad. They call it full moon fever.
When we return, I plunge deeper into the mystery.
I saw a river of bones.
I face your darkest fears.
If the track was built on an ancient Indian burial ground, I'm convinced it's cursed.
And I come face to face with a man on the razor's edge of the paranormal, Kayash Monsef.
I swear on any god that has ever lived, I will eat you and that cameraman alive.
The world of the unexplained continues at legendofhallowdega.com.
Welcome back to the AMP Energy Juice 500 here at Talladega Super Speedway. Cars on the pace lap as we're going to set the grid for you. It'll come across the top of your screen. 3 cars did not make the field. Landon Castle, Travis Quapple, and that's going to hurt that 38 team in their quest for the 35th and final guaranteed spot. And Johnny Sauter, the third, that did not make the field. No cars will be going to the rear. And if you were with us for Countdown, you heard the 3 chase contenders in the top 3 positions talking about their strategy. Just in case you missed it, here it is.
It's a fun race. I enjoy it. It's very strategic as far as where you put yourself and the things you can't control or you know, making a mistake or somebody else making a mistake and getting in that big wreck.
I'm just going to try to get up front somewhat early, lead some laps, and see if we can lead the most. If we can and we get in the middle of the pack, then you'll see me try to hit this escape button.
You just look for people that have the same philosophy as you do at the start of the race and at different parts of the race. At the end, you know, all the friendships you build and the way everybody works together goes out the window because we all need the best finish we can get.
And talk about the finishes this year in 2010 on the restrictor plate tracks. Jimmy Johnson has not fared well at all. No better than 31st. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick has been the best of the 3, winning twice in that time frame. All right, we've talked about the top 3. Let's talk about some of the others in the field of this 43. Jamie Little, you're up.
Well, Marty, one driver who hopes to turn some more treats today rather than tricks is Kyle Busch. And if practice was any indication, that could be the case. On Friday, he hooked up with Denny Hamlin, his teammate. They turned a fast lap average of 201 miles per hour. Today, watch for Kyle to help his teammate get that points lead in the championship. But the #1 priority is to win this race. And hey, if today is anything like the finish was last night in the truck race when Kyle won in thrilling fashion, we're all in for a treat. Dave Burns?
Well, Jamie Martin was a top 5 car here in the spring, but he qualified 30th for today's race. He said he was surprised after that because of how well the car ran in the big pack. He was fastest in final practice. But it won't be any surprise if Mark can win here this afternoon. He's a 2-time winner here. The team has been running well lately. And remember, just last week, he came from 2 laps down to finish 2nd at Martinsville. Starting 30th today? That doesn't scare Mark. Vince Welch?
For Tony Stewart, it's now or never. 236 points out of the championship, a long shot for sure, but this team's not ready to throw in the towel. In fact, crew chief Darian Grubb said they don't need a miracle, they just need a little wreck and a lot of luck. Smoke won this race 2 years ago. If there's to be a storybook comeback, he'll need to do it again today. Doc?
Well, Vince, if you just mention the word Talladega to drivers and race fans, it'll conjure up visions of high speeds and high risks on the high banks of NASCAR's largest super speedway. And how appropriate on Halloween, the drivers are getting set to endure the most frightening 500 miles of the year. Now, right now, they're asking themselves, do I have the nerve? Do I have the skill to cram my throttle foot on the floor and leave it there for the next 3 hours without making a mistake? And if someone makes a mistake, do I have enough tricks up my sleeve to dodge the sliding cars in the big one and treat myself to a top 5 finish? It is trick-or-treat NASCAR style at Talladega. Frightening to some, but for those of you at home, it should be fun to watch. Marty?
It sure is going to be. Thank you, Doc, and everybody. And let's take a look at the track facts, because this place is awesome. The highest banks, the fastest speeds. What else do we say?
As big as fast. The only thing that really matters, for 187 laps, you're going to position yourself for that final lap. You hope that it ends on 188, but the last few we've seen go a little bit longer.
There's 188 opportunities for other guys to lead laps, though, and they're going to be trying to do that all day.
And speaking of that, remember that the April race set a record for NASCAR, not just here at Talladega, but for the entire series. And remember, we went extra. We had 200 laps total. That was the most ever. Could we have 3 green-white checkers here today? 29 leaders, 88 lead changes the last time. And as they get ready to come around for the green flag, let's listen in on the 48 radio as that last-minute words of encouragement.
Well, it's a beautiful day for a race. It's going to be an exciting race, guys. Like we said, this should be nice and smooth. Mind our P's and Q's for the first 3 quarters of this race, and then we'll do what we got to do at the end of it. I'd like to say hello to all the fans out there in the stands, everybody listening to us on TV. Hope you guys enjoy the race. Thank you for your support.
And thank you, Chad, and everybody else, as the cars now making their way out of turn number 2, and already the 97 is falling back to the rear, Jeff Fuller. So he is going to start that way. When you look at this place, can you picture in your mind's eye what it was like in 1969? I asked Richard Childress. He was part of that race, finished with enough money from the 2 races combined. He raced on Saturday and Sunday. That's what started his race shop. And he got a letter sent from Bill France, because remember there was controversy about the PDA and some of the guys didn't race that day. And Richard still has that letter, and it said, if you ever need something from my family, you show this letter, and they'll take care of it, honor it.
Well, it was quite a spectacle that day. You know, a lot of drivers didn't like the opportunity of having to come here or be here, but it has turned into just a show in itself, and we're in for an exciting race today, no doubt. You know, I can think back as a driver, a lot of nervous moments about coming into these races, but once you got involved in it, it was so exciting.
Now he has a driver with a chance to win the championship. The 29 right there of Kevin Harvick. He's got to duke it out with Jimmy Johnson, Denny Hamlin, and as they get ready to come through turn number 4, I can't imagine what's in the knot of a driver's stomach.
Well, I think everybody's here knowing they have an opportunity to win this race. But the 3 drivers that probably have the biggest concern, we've talked about those guys battling for a championship, and there's just nowhere to hide at this. You can lay back and you can try to miss everything. At some point in time, you're going to have to start going forward. And as we've seen, you know, anything can happen, even coming to the last lap to the checkered flag.
Well, you can hear the crowd coming to their feet. Pace car is off. It's Halloween. The monster on this day is this track. It eats race cars for lunch. 500 miles of terror for the drivers. 500 miles of excitement for us. And as they come through the tri-oval, we get ready for the biggest race in the chase. We're green at Talladega. Coming out of 2, you notice Jamie McMurray pulled high and started to fall back. There you see him on the high side there.
Got to think that's some kind of strategy on his part, Dale.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're going to see different drivers do different things, but Jamie feels like that dropping back and hanging out this is a long, long race that gives him the best opportunity to be there when it matters.
How about front row Joe up on the outside there coming through 3 and 4?
Nemechek in the 87 planning to go the distance today. Both of his cars did make the show. Jeff Fuller in the other one that we told you he fell to the back. No cars went to the rear, and here we go as we get ready to go past lap number 1. We're going to have 3 wide in multiple sections of the track.
Yeah, they started out 2 wide. That didn't last very long. As you can see, 3 wide all the way back from about 3rd spot on.
That's great to see Joe Nemechek lead that first lap. Look at him out front.
Now he's hung out in the middle. Now he goes to the high side.
Gonna get a big push.
Got Dale Jr. right behind him.
Boy, he played that perfectly, too, and that's what we'll have to see all day. That's a chance you take, pulling in front of those cars, but, man, you can get a nice push.
Here goes Boyer down low with Montoya behind. Now Nemechek slides up higher. Here goes Jr. He's going to go around him.
Yeah, and here comes Kevin Harvick. We know he wants to try to lead this race early and a lot.
Coming through the tri-oval for lap number 2. And we'll have our second official leader. It'll be Dale Earnhardt Jr. Could it be at the stripe? Well, it could be.
Kevin Harvick got those 5 points.
That's how quickly it can change.
It might change 3 times before they get back. See Junior making a move on the inside, coming back on him.
Saw how far Nemechek, he's back about 7 rows now.
I think Kevin Harvick has established that he is one of the best restrictor plate drivers out there right now. See Denny Hamlin all the way down below the double yellow line, which is out of bounds, but he wasn't advancing his position. He's headed towards the back to hang out.
Well, he said that if he couldn't get up front, he was going to slide back. There he is, and we already knew Jimmy Johnson was going to go back to the back and sort of lay back there and let things sort out. So there they are, nose to tail. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, as you can see, we're going to have another lead change. Here comes Clint Boyer and Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Jr. leads that lap. 3 leaders in 3 laps.
I don't know if it's possible. We could have 188 lead changes. Obviously, we don't have that many different leaders.
Kurt Busch now in second, right behind Jr. Here comes Clint Boyer. He's got 2 cars helping him. Montoya and Harvick.
See just how quickly all of this changes. Harvick looked like he was going to drop back maybe outside the top 10. He got a nice push, got his momentum going back forward. See, Boyer stretches out a little bit. That may give Montoya the opportunity to come back and make a pass before they get back to the line again.
Coming to the stripe. Who's going to lead? Lap number 4. Officially, Clint Boyer. No, how about officially Montoya? Let's update. Jeff Fuller has taken his car behind the wall. Meanwhile, we've got 3 wide in the middle of this field. Bobby Labonte right there. And here comes Montoya. He's lost his drafting partner for the second.
Oh, look at Harvick there. He almost got tagged.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Casey Mears.
Harvick had that moment of indecision, and that could have been very costly.
We'll see a lot more give and take in those type situations right now. If we get down towards the end, literally in the last 20 laps, you'll see guys fill those holes much more quickly, and then that's whenever problems start to happen.
Well, can we have our 5th different leader in 5 laps coming to the stripe? How about, yes, Casey Kane takes over the top spot. I told you this was going to be fun. Kane loses his drafting help as Junior goes right around him, and look at the fans on the backstretch. Junior Nation up on its feet again.
Yeah, a lot of bump drafting right there. These guys have to be careful. See Montoya, I think he got kind of shoved out of the way right there.
And he is going to lose quite a bit of ground, pulls back into line, and still has to get back up to speed. When you crack the throttle here, it takes a long time to get back up. Vince, what's the story on the 42?
Well, just as planned, he wanted to lead a lap, snap up those 5 bonus points, and then slip to the back where he finds it going to be a little less dangerous. So not a problem at all for the 42 of Montoya.
Well, all of these guys are running up front.
We're really getting a sense of this 2-car hookup. You see these 2 teammates, the 31 and 33. They've really locked in these last 3 quarters of the lap. You see just how much they gain by doing that.
Well, and the 2 Dodgers are doing the same there. Look at Brad Keselowski with the help of Sam Hornish Jr.
The key here is you got to stay really, really locked up. Even a foot between the cars can really raise the drag of the cars up enough that they won't really shoot forward like you see this. They have to be really touching each other.
And Andy, people might say, well, then why don't they stay like that for a long period of time? But it can't do that.
No, they can't. The engine will run hot. You can see that grill opening is just, you see Clint Boyer right there behind Jeff Burton, and that thing is just basically shut completely off.
Jeff Burton gets credited with leading that lap. 6 different leaders now, 7 lead changes.
See, now this is a really good strategy here. They'll swap positions and see if they can hook back up again, and that way they can cool their engines back, to a normal range.
Yeah, and here comes a guy. Robbie Gordon has started 42nd, I think, on the grid. He's trying to take the lead with Kevin Harvick's push.
You're absolutely right. From 42nd in 7 laps, here he is moving to the front. On the high side, you've got Keselowski.
Yeah, he may not make it back as the leader. You can see Harvick had to get off his bumper. He gave him such a shove out there. I think Robbie's going to get hung in the middle here.
Might be getting a bump draft right here, though.
While all this is going on, 5 chase contenders are 35th or deeper in the field. They're playing it safe.
I think that's by design.
Yep. Boyer leads that lap. Kurt Busch second, Earnhardt, Robbie Gordon, Keselowski credited with 5th.
See another good drafter up front. See that 55 in that top lane, 3rd car back, Michael Walker. Doesn't get a lot of seat time lately, but he's really good on these restrictor plate tracks.
Yeah, I was talking to Michael the other night at a function. He and Darrell had to raise money, and he was really excited about his opportunity to come in here with an opportunity, what he felt like, to win the race.
I just hope he isn't dressed like he was yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
For anybody who didn't see, they had a Halloween costume and
a little shuffling there.
Mrs. Howell from Gilligan's Island. That's right, I said Mrs.
See, Keselowski going to try to get the lead here at the line. He does it.
Yep, Brad's going to take the lead. So Keselowski now our 8th different leader. 9 lead changes in 9 laps. On board with Clint Boyer.
You just can't lead 2 laps in a row at the start-finish line. Just incredible what these cars do in the draft.
The cars are so big, they make such a big hole in the air that it's just hard for anybody to stay out front. There's a big vacuum behind these groups of cars, and it just pulls all these other cars up front.
See, Michael Waltrip there giving Sam Hornish a big push. They got a nice lead there. If he can stay on his bumper, Sam should be able to lead this lap. That's how it's done right there. We'll watch him hang him out here in just a minute. Michael will want to lead this before long.
So Sam becomes our 9th different leader, our 10th lead change in 10 laps. There were 8 different leaders by lap 10 back in April. Sounds like we're on pace for another record day at Talladega. Make sure to go to Goodyear.com to check out Goodyear's Support Our Troops program. There you can send a thank you message from a NASCAR driver, enter for a chance to win a 2011 Ford Taurus, and other great prizes. Well, as we come back here to Talladega, we've completed 13 laps. We've had 10 different leaders and 11 lead changes. You're riding on board with Kevin Harvick. He's back to 23rd. Here's the reason why.
Get the back up. I'm hot. I got too hot.
Yeah, you can hear that's just what they're talking about. When they put that grill right up on that bumper, they can't do it for long, Doc.
They can, Andy. And Danny Lawrence, the engine builder, said in the old days you could go to almost 300 degrees or maybe well over 260. He said to now, he said when we get to 240, 245, we want our drivers to let us know we don't want it to go to 250. We want him to sneak the nose of the car out, which is exactly what Kevin did a moment ago, getting hot, and I had to sneak a peek. For more, let's go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Doc. It's literally like sitting at home, folks. Try holding your breath for a minute. Doesn't work too well. What these guys have to do when they're nose to tail is literally have the car move over to the right, move over to the left, because what we're trying to do is get a little bit more air in there. I can only hold my breath for about 50 seconds. DJ, you might be a little bit better than that, but hey, it's all about keeping the air to the nose and making sure the engine stays cool all day long. Guys?
I couldn't much either, Tim. That's why I hung out a lot and waited till I could hold my breath, which that's the end. These guys are incredible. See these 2 cars get hooked up and just how fast they can go. See Jeff Burton pushing Matt Kenseth now. They came from nowhere past these guys, and now they've got a 15-car length lead.
And behind those 2, it's Clint Boyer, Dale Jr., Kurt Busch, Aric Almirola, Bobby Labonte, Reagan, Robbie Gordon, Casey Kane. That's your top 10. And Harvick has jumped all the way back up I should say to 9th, with Bobby Labonte rounding out the top 10. So from 23rd to 9th in about 2 laps.
Yeah, hang around and we'll change all of those numbers again in a minute.
You see right back in the pack right there, you see Sam Hornish and Michael Waltrip. They got out front by a couple of seconds a while ago doing this 2-car draft, but then they just couldn't do it. Cars got hot, they had to swap, and when they did that, this whole group just swarmed on them.
They were literally running a second faster than the 3rd and 4th place cars.
2 can do it better than the pack, but they can't do it as long.
And there we just saw Kenseth and Burton do the same thing. They were over a full second faster than the rest of the field. Look how much distance they've gained on them. It's incredible.
They're flying down the backstretch now.
Now watch this. They're going to get side by side, and now they're going to create a lot of drag. They're going to slow way up. This group behind them is going to come like a freight train.
Yeah, they're just going to swap spots here for a second. Kenseth's going to get in behind Burton. He's going to try to do the same thing so they can keep a lot of this lead.
If they can lock it up real quick.
Yeah, and they did. Kenseth was able to do that. I would imagine Jeff Burton was dragging his brake just a little bit to make sure that he could lock on there and they could stay out front.
Strange bedfellows, so to speak. You've got Chevy and a Ford teaming up right now with Burton and Harvick. And right behind them, you can see that here come 2 of the Dodges.
Well, the 2 leaders were a full second slower that lap than the lap previous. When they made that swap, it cost them a second.
Kurt Busch has now got Sam Hornish in tow.
Yeah, we can already see that Sam Hornish has a fast race car. He's able to push these guys and make a big gain.
Dave, you've got more?
Well, this would be the one that would be more planned, working with your teammate to run up on these guys, and it looks like they're going to catch them and pass them. The one with Michael Waltrip a few laps ago, I did confirm with their pit box the fact that they didn't plan that one. That's just the kind of thing that happens here at Talladega. You see someone going to the front, you think you can run with them, and you go. But now the teammates hooking up and trying to take the lead at the start-finish line.
Here they come. It'll still be Burton leading this lap. Kenseth, Busch, and Hornish rounding out top 4.
Yeah, you can see what happened right here as they got closer to those 2 cars. Well, Kurt Busch was able to get a draft that pulled him closer. Hornish couldn't stay on his bumper, so they weren't able to complete that pass.
And it's going to basically crush both of them.
Just watching these lap times from Kurt Busch and Sam Hornish, over 200 miles an hour last lap average.
Sam is about to be swallowed up by the pack coming up behind him. That's lap traffic that they're getting ready to pass there, the 34 of Robert Richardson.
Yeah, and you can see without any help, Kurt Busch has fallen off and lost the 2 leaders.
And there's Sam way down on the low side of the track, and he has been freight trained by about 10 cars, and he finally tucks back in. Right now, it is Burton and Matt Kenseth. They're running up front by about, 20 car lengths. It'll probably change by the time we come back. Chevrolet wants you and 3 of your friends to meet Kevin Harvick and Miss Sprint Cup at the NASCAR Sprint Cup Awards ceremony in Las Vegas. You could also win 2 all-new Chevrolet Cruze LTZs to go along with your trip. For a chance to win, enter at winyourchevy.com. Back here at Talladega, you're on board with Tony Stewart, and you're saying, wait a minute, there's nobody in front, there's nobody behind. That's because he had a problem, guys.
It looked like he had a flat left front tire. Don't know exactly what happened, Dave. Vince, I'm sorry.
Yep, that's okay. Mark Martin had come on the radio a lap before and said he thought he saw a little smoke coming from the front tire of Tony Stewart. Stewart says there was no contact, but certainly cut it down. You can see the Goodyear officials looking it over. Averted disaster there, being able to get in quickly and change 4 without any damage to the fenders.
He's 1 lap down in 41st, but he is not in the lucky dog position. That's Robert Richardson Jr. 2 cars are off the track right now, Dave Blaney and Jeff Fuller. Here are the race leaders coming up on Tony, and there's the rest of the pack. Pick your favorite driver. Up front, it is Burton and Kenseth. They've sort of freight trained themselves away from the pack. Behind them by 1.3 seconds, Clint Boyer, Brad Keselowski, Casey Kane, and Kevin Harvick is now back up into the 6th position. Kurt Busch is in 8th with Regan Smith in between him and 7th.
Yeah, and Tony's biggest problem now is he's going 2 laps down as they go by him, so he'll have to hope that maybe this can cycle through to where these other guys have to make a green flag pit stop.
You can see Tony still on the low side of the track, and these 2 up front will change positions again to give the 17 a chance to cool his radiator.
Yeah, they're being masterful at this. They're keeping about a 2-second lead here, which is incredible that they're working this well together. But they lead about 2 laps each, and then they switch so that they don't hurt their engines.
Meanwhile, while all this is going on, how about where Denny Hamlin is? He's 33rd right now on the racetrack, and his teammate Kyle Busch is 36th. Here was the conversation on the radio.
I was just seeing what my car was doing there. Simple. Wasn't sure if you wanted to go up there and play because it kind of calmed down a little. I'd just like to lead a lap. You know, I was waiting on the tires to wear off a little bit so it's not so crazy, and then I was going to try to lead a lap. Yeah. I don't know if you want to do that, though, because the more tires wear off, the less you can push, you know? Right. We'll just see what happens later on. I mean, we don't have to get it right away, but maybe after a pit stop or something, we get out front.
Yeah, and there's different ways to look at this. You know, if I were going to employ that strategy that they are back there, I would wait and maybe stay out a lap on the green flag stops to lead a lap. Or if it happens to be under caution, you can also stay out if you're going to hang out at the back anyway. It doesn't hurt you. So there are different ways to go about it. Some point in time, you got to know what your car will do throughout the day.
Yeah, from where they are, it's got a lot of cars to pass and a lot of risk getting there.
Well, let's get an update on Denny Hamlin from Vince.
Well, and maybe DJ can comment on this afterwards, but I think it really takes a lot of discipline to ride comfortably back there and to not want to go play, as you heard the guys talk about, because Denny came on the radio with Mike Ford a little bit ago, Mike Ford being his crew chief, of course, and Denny sounded like he wanted to go run a little bit. Mike, pulled the reins on him, tugged on the reins a little bit, and they decided, no, we'll stay back here toward the back. But I think he wouldn't mind going up and seeing what he's got, maybe have a little fun up toward the front.
Yeah, you're right, Vince. It is a long day. It makes it very difficult to sit back there and do that, especially when you know you have a good car, but you have to stick with your plan. Again, this is not about winning today's race until it gets down at the end. It's about surviving this and keeping yourself in a championship battle. They've got 3 other races to go try to win. And obviously if they get in position late in this, they'll do exactly that, but you have to get to that point.
You saw Jeff Burton and Matt Kenseth swap positions again. Remember, these two used to be teammates at Roush Racing. In fact, they had a total of 169 races, and 19 of those as teammates on the restrictor plate tracks.
They're doing a great job of working together. They kind of got this whole system figured out as to where's the best place for them to pass each other back to get the other one out front. But you can see the pack led by Brad Keselowski is coming at them fast right now on the high side.
As the pack comes through, let's check in on Jimmy Johnson and one of his teammates.
He's actually
Jeff Gordon.
The second pack have lost a lot of ground to that first pack.
You see Mark Martin leading that charge with A.J. Allmendinger, then Gordon, Johnson, McMurray, Edwards. Montoya's back in this group. And all of a sudden, look what's happened up front. Brad Keselowski and the 83 of Casey Kane, they ran down the top 2 because they sort of had trouble staying locked up.
Well, yeah, and eventually you're just going to have to cool a little bit longer than what they were because you're going to mess up the engine if you're not careful. So they know whenever they need to employ that strategy, they can do it again, and they'll find each other to try to work with each other.
Burton led 8 laps. Kenseth led 7. We have had 11 different leaders and 18 lead changes. Here comes Brad Keselowski as he's going to lead another lap. Meanwhile, we were getting ready to give you an update on Jimmy Johnson. Let's do it now, Dave Burns.
Well, and Marty, he is, I believe, 4th in that line of cars right now. And they talked about getting out and moving to the front and making something happen. And Jimmy was afraid it just wouldn't last long enough. He felt like if he got out there, even with Jeff Gordon, his teammate, or Mark Martin, that it wouldn't last long enough to get him up toward the group. Chad keeps reminding him, you're doing what we need you to do, and you are catching the main pack. Although it's kind of hard to see with the naked eye down here.
Yeah, if you look at the monitor, Dave, they've gained a second or so on this pack by running that, how they're running. So for long, it looks like they're going to be up there.
Behind Keselowski, it's Kane, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Elliott Sadler now in the top 5, and David Gilliland up to 6. There's your top 5 after 30 of 188 laps at the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega.
Caution-free so far in the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. Riding on board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the moment. Time for the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. Currently in the lead, Jeff Gordon's team, but you can help determine the standings. Vote from your AT&T phone by texting the car number of your selected crew to 2258 for the pit crew you think's the fastest and most valuable. From the pit studio with Rusty Ray and Brad getting ready in just another lap or so for green flag pit stops. We talked about it on Countdown, what to watch for when they come to pit road en masse.
Well, Alan, it's going to get crowded. They're going to probably come in 3 different waves, 2 big packs and 1 small pack. They're going to have to be careful getting on, not to bump into one another, damage aerodynamically, and do not make a mistake on pit road. If you lose that draft, you're going to go a lap down.
And the most important thing, Ray, for me as a driver, I had to get this car to the bottom of the racetrack. I've got the hand signals going on right now. I'm telling everybody behind me I'm getting ready to pit. I do not want to get hung on the outside where I can't get down. And when I get down, I got to remember I'm coming from 195 miles per hour, and I got to slow this baby down to 55 miles per hour. So, Brad, it's a big slowdown for me.
Yeah. The thing for me is, we've got 5 of our chasers just kind of hanging out in the back. Are they going to maintain that position, come in, get nice, smooth pit stops, go back out, and continue to stay back there as they knock off laps throughout the day?
It's been a game of swap the lead at the front of the pack so far today. 21 lead changes among 11 drivers through the first 35 laps, and the 2-car draft has been a big story. 2 drivers hooking up bumper to bumper and pushing their way to the front. We see it now with Clint Boyer, 33, and Jeff Burton, 31.
Yeah, Alan, but it's been pretty dangerous. We're hearing a lot of drivers who are running in that second position are overheating, and they've got to cool the engine off and pull back out. My problem with that is they keep overheating, then cooling the motor, overheating, cooling the motor, back and forth. And I got to believe if this continues, it could start hurting engines and hurting performance in those cars.
We'll keep an eye on that as the day unfolds. Burton abandons that 2-car draft.
There you go. That was his spotter, Mike Dillon, telling Clint Boyer to come on, get up there, get after it. The train's coming.
So Clint Boyer leads that lap at the start-finish line, and that would be the second time today that Boyer has paced a circuit out in front. Hearing some chatter on some of the team's radios that we'll see these green flag pit stops somewhere in the next couple of laps. So begin to look for the hands waving inside the windshields of the cars. Drivers trying to signal the guys behind them that they're getting ready to turn left.
And another thing you got to remember, too, a lot of these guys are going to do right side pit stops, just right side tires. Here we go. They got to make sure they don't lock up the tires and flat spot them, because they don't want that to happen right now.
Cars peeling off, heading to pit road, while another train continues on around the racetrack. Keselowski, Kurt Busch, David Gilliland, Sam Hornish Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr. on pit road. We go to Dave Burns.
Penske teammates on pit road. The 12 car had gotten a little bit hot pushing other cars, so they may take a look at removal of a little bit of tape. The 2 car for Kurt Busch, he was tight coming off of the corners, and the left rear wedge is going to be the call on the 2 car. 4 tire stops for both of these Penske cars.
Don't speed, don't get busted and have to make that pass-through penalty, and now we'll see when the next wave begins to slow down. Hearing the leader, Clint Boyer, is going to be heading toward pit road shortly. Not this lap.
Being in that early wave is not a bad thing, because you come in, your pit road's clean. As those guys come in, you'll lose time. The more cars that want to hit pit road at the same time will get jammed up. Sometimes it's good to be in that early wave if it doesn't affect your fuel mileage for the rest of the race.
Kyle Busch in for his stop, along with Denny Hamlin. Jamie?
And you see him working it right there. Kyle Busch kind of been moving all around so far, trying to feel out his drafting partners. They're going to do a 4-tire stop here. Remember, not many adjustments you can make on these speedway cars, Vince.
There will be no adjustments on the 11 of Denny Hamlin, just 4 tires and fuel. Mike Ford reminded him 4,400 RPM down the pit lane. Do not get a speeding penalty. Good entry into the box. Stalled it a little bit coming out, so a little bit slow on the exit for the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
More drama going on. Clint Boyer's team called him in a lap ago to pit road. He's on the radio saying, Mike, can you hear me? We're talking to Mike Dillon, his spotter. So this is the second lap in a row Boyer's driven past pit road when they've called him in. Jamie?
And Jeff Gordon in the 24 there. His goal was to run where the action is. Did not want to hang back, but that has not been the case so far. Steve Letarte making the call, saying, wait. Right sides only, Dave.
And the reigning champion, Jimmy Johnson, will get a track bar adjustment for that race car. 4 tires for, no, it's going to be only 2. And now they've got got a problem. They decide they need to get it full of fuel. They weren't there yet. Jimmy took off, and now he leaves, hopefully full of fuel.
All right, let's see. Clint Bowyer looks like he's gotten the message this time and is hitting the brakes to head to pit road as the cycle of stops continue.
I'll tell you, no communication at Talladega is a bad thing. That was a scary moment right there for that team.
Lap led for Kevin Harvick in the exchange of pit stops. Jamie?
Alan, the reason why the 33 didn't know he was supposed to pit, there was a hung radio. Somebody had it clicked open. He could not communicate with his team. They got it right on the third try. 4 tires for Clint Bowyer, Doc.
Jeff Burton, 4 tires. And look at the back of the hood, guys. It's pumping up a little bit in the draft. They look at the hood, 4 tires, and Bowyer will beat him out as they head down pit road. Vince.
The 98 of Paul Menard, it's a 4-tire change. He said he likes the way the car is running in the high lane. Really comfortable with the car at this point. Very stable. No changes for Paul Menard.
So yet to pit Kevin Harvick, who is the race leader. And that'll be Harvick leading this group in the charge down pit road. Matt Kenseth, look out.
Whoa, man. Wow, that was close.
Didn't see him with all that camouflage.
There you go. Go ahead, Jamie.
And Matt Kenseth saying he needs a little more speed. The goal was to stay with the 31. They're going to fill it up with Sunoco fuel, and it is going to be a 4-tire stop for the 17, Doc.
4 tires, chassis adjustment, and Kevin Harvick said you got to take some tape off the grill. The temperature is 240 and not going down even outside the draft. He's down and away.
There's something to keep an eye on for Kevin Harvick.
And once they get those engines that hot, Alan, it's hard to cool them down.
All right, so the cycle of pit stops continues for the moment. The guys just coming off pit road have to get back up to speed, which takes a couple laps to get full song up to speed.
Well, I was really wondering how long these guys could go on fuel. Looks like Kevin Harvick went 39 laps. This guy's been out here for quite a long time. I have to figure the fuel burn on that, what they're getting for miles per gallon. That'd be pretty interesting to find that number.
Yeah, it was interesting listening to Jeff Gordon earlier talking about wanting to be amongst the action. But he's not been able to get up and mixed up with the guys. He's really was in the back earlier, just kind of riding. So it's interesting how these strategies play out through the day, how close you can hit on your strategy, and what you have to do to adjust when you can't be right in the middle of what you want to be doing.
So as the pack has broken apart through the series of green flag pit stops, you see David Ruderman in the 00 and Marcus Ambrose in the 47. They are the leaders in that 2-car pack, but now the rest of the field beginning to kind of close back in as the draft reforms.
You got to be thinking, if I was Denny Hamlin, man, I want to get some points. And if I'm thinking Kevin Harvick, I got some points. I mean, these guys that have not led a lap yet, Denny Hamlin, Jimmy Johnson, you got to be getting a little bit antsy, Brad, wanting to get up there and lead at least a lap before they go back highs again.
Especially Denny Hamlin, who's been in the back most of the day, just riding around. He and Kyle Busch hooked up earlier in the day. They both were super fast, but he just maintained that 20th to 25th position. You would think he'd want to be up there getting those bonus points.
So after the cycle of pit stops, you have Denny Hamlin showing back in 19th position. Jimmy Johnson showing, where is he? He's just a little bit farther behind.
Jimmy Johnson's back in 17th, just moved to 16th.
And Kevin Harvick being swallowed up by the pack coming off of pit road. Harvick now being shown in 20th position as, again, the pack reforms after the green flag pit stops. So we're caution-free. 25 lead changes, 13 leaders. The first round of pit stops complete. It's been pretty wild so far at Talladega, and a lot still to come.
The 83rd time we've been racing at Talladega Superspeedway, and it has not let us down, as the 2-car freight trains that we have seen have been better than the multi-car efforts. But don't try this, not even on Halloween, on your freeway at home. I don't think the local constabulary would approve, especially if you're trying to do it at 200 miles an hour. As you see, the pack has reformed after the first round of green flag stops. Up front is David Ruderman, followed by Marcus Ambrose. There's Mark Martin down low with the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. now pushing him. And a little bit further back, there's also Denny Hamlin in that inside lane. Now, notice the 39 Ryan Newman. He is 1 lap down. First car a lap down, 36. What's going on with the 39, Jamie Little?
Well, I'll tell you, Marty, it started actually when his teammate Tony Stewart had that flat and had to pit. All of a sudden, Newman said, I don't know what's going on. I have not lifted once today. My car won't go anywhere. At least he's in a pack now. He's been running most of this race way in the back all by himself, and he did get swallowed up, went a lap down, but the car just down on power, Marty.
Well, look out on that inside line. A lot of bumping and banging going on. Everybody managed to hold on to it. It was getting real dicey right around the 77 of Sam Hornish and the 33 of Clint Boyer.
Yeah, look at Denny Hamlin push Jamie McMurray. We know how good Jamie's been at these, but Denny Hamlin's been probably the best pusher of anybody. He wants to lead and get those 5 bonus points. Remember, he was hanging out in the back not long ago.
And so was Mark Martin. He was in that second pack as well. Hamlin goes around. Here comes the 77 with him, as well as Boyer and Burton. It's still the high line that's got the lead right now as Mark Martin. Can he hold on to it as they come through the corner?
Well, Sam Hornish Jr., you see pushing Denny Hamlin. He's done a good job of that today, pushing a lot of cars to the lead. Let's see if he can push Hamlin up there.
He's going to get him here by the time they get to the line if they don't wreck first.
Man.
You got to hang on, but Denny Hamlin's going to get 5 points.
So Denny Hamlin does get credited for leading lap number 4.
You and him are clear. All clear by 5.
15 leaders now, 27 lead changes. He is the 5th chase contender to lead a lap today.
See, Sam Hornish Jr. really doing a good job on that 2-car hookup.
Yeah, these Dodges seem to really have a lot of power here today, and that's going to really be in their favor when it comes down time to win this race.
In case those letters weren't close enough, that was Charger.
See, now they've already pulled out from this group.
And as we mentioned earlier, the 2-car effort aerodynamically is better than the multi-car behind them, and here they go.
See Hornish pull out now. He's going to have to cool his engine down just a little bit, or the water in there. See, Hamlin will try to get back on his bumper and see if they can stay out there. That's where Denny Hamlin would love to be, out in front of this whole group.
And how hard is that to do? Because you can't afford to break the throttle open, right?
Yeah, but you got to break. You got to let that guy get back to you. So you've got to do something, either drag the brake, and that's what allows the rest of these guys to catch you then. But can't stay there for long. But Denny's good at it. He'll push Sam back to the front here.
On the high side, it's Mark Martin getting the push from Clint Boyer with Jeff Burton right behind him. Let's see who's going to lead this lap here at Talladega as they come down towards the stripe. That guy's going to be holding that blue passing flag all day long up there in the stand. Mark Martin gets credited now as 28 lead changes among 15 different leaders. In fact, let's get an update on the 5, Dave.
Well, Mark has kept it no secret, Marty, that he is not a fan of pushing or of being pushed. So I asked crew chief Alan Gustafson, well, when did he come on board with this? Because he seems to have done it well. He was 5th here in April. He said when they did the test this spring for the spoilers on the cars and the gear ratios, he said Mark worked with Jeff Gordon during that day. And that day was when Mark said, you know what? I can do this now. I feel comfortable doing this. And Alan said part of it is just other people knowing you're willing to do it. And now that people know that, Mark is out front, and I think he's a more potential winner here at Talladega.
He's got his hands full right now with David Ruderman pushing the 11 of Denny Hamlin to the forefront. You noticed the 14 getting another lap down. Tony Stewart now 2 laps off the pace. You know, speaking of Mark Martin, yesterday I was talking to him. He said, we've got to come up with a different terminology for teammates. He says, we are not teammates when we're out on that track. I guarantee you, if we're going for the stripe, I want to win, and so do they.
Well, that's what makes it challenging to know that. See Dale Jr. go back to the front here. But, yeah, I mean, they work for the same organization, but when you're out there, yeah, it's about you and your race team that you're trying to make the most for.
Look at the way they are slicing back in the middle of this pack. That was Mark diving down low. There's one car really slow in the middle right there. I can't quite make out who it is from this aerial view. But up front, it looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. could be leading another lap. Kurt Busch, Joey Logano now has moved into 3rd. Jeff Burton, Marcus Ambrose rounds out your top 5. So there's Dale Earnhardt Jr. That's right, he led 90 laps last week at Martinsville, and he's up front here at Talladega. Welcome back to the AMP Energy Juice 500 here at Talladega. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. I've got two guys standing up here pointing all over the place. You guys are wound up today.
Oh, there's just so much going on. It's just great racing to watch these guys.
Yeah, you see Ambrose and Ruderman up on that outside now. They've got that two-car hookup. See how far they can take it.
Let's reset the front for you. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Kurt Busch right behind him. Then Joey Logano, Montoya, Elliott Sadler. Then Hornish, Ruderman, Truex, Scott Speed. That's your top 10. But that'll change quickly. Come by the stripe one more time. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is now going to be the leader in the clubhouse with laps led. We've had 15 different leaders and 30 lead changes, and Dale Jr. is who we're focusing on in our Gillette Pro Glide profile. You can see his starts here at Talladega with the 5 wins, and who knows, maybe today could be number 6 and end that streak.
You got that in just in time because Ambrose is going to the front with this big push. Marcus got David Ruderman. Ruderman has been doing a great job. He was pushing the boss, Michael Waltrip, around a little bit earlier. And look at it, 3 wide behind him. Here we go. Jeff Burton's in that middle, and so is Casey Mears. And the 31 of Jeff Burton sort of sliding back along with the 17. Let's get an update on the 31, Doc.
Yeah, Marty, Jeff says I've lost some speed in the car, and I'm not sure why, but he told Todd Berrier he thinks when they were bump drafting the 17 car of Kenseth that he may have bent the hood, the back of the hood, right where it goes into the cowl. And that's a very important part here to get airflow in terms of horsepower. And Jeff said for whatever reason, we've lost speed, and I can't get it back right now. We're going to look when we get on pit road again at the very back of the hood.
You see a lot of movement. Marcus Ambrose is falling back like a rock right now. That was Marcus's view, and you could see everybody going by him there. The 09 on the high side is Bobby Labonte. Brad Keselowski pulls right in front of him. A little bit further forward, you see the 6 of David Ragan. Ragan's one of those guys that just lost contact with the pack. He is the first car 1 lap down, shown in 33rd. Newman 1 lap down in 34th.
Yeah, you see Kyle Busch there in the 18 who was hanging out in the back in that before those round of pit stops. He's going to try to push David Ragan up there, and he's going to try to take the lead himself. Ragan had been running good, but he had some problems on pit road. In all that exchange, anyway, he ended up losing the draft in a lap down, but has a pretty fast car. See, Kyle lost contact with him there for just a second. Here comes Burton pushing Casey Mears.
And when you're in the middle and you lose that contact, you can see the end result. Everybody waves to you as they go by. Now he's hooked back up with Ragan. Still in the middle, though. Couple more cars, including the 17 of Kenseth, pulled down into that second line. Here we come past the stripe again. It'll still be Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading. He's now led a total of 11 of the 62 laps.
I know one thing. If it got down to the end of this race and I could find Jeff Burton to get on my bumper, that's who I'd want here today. He has a fast car. He has a good engine, and he knows exactly how to handle this 2-car draft. He's pushed a number of people to the lead. Now you can see he's going to hang Casey Mears out to dry. Well, maybe you wouldn't want him then.
and maybe not. Maybe not on the last lap.
Yeah.
And for a guy who reportedly has a bad nose and maybe a problem, he's still flying.
One of the problems is, situations can make your car feel like it's really fast at some points, and other points you think, man, I got something wrong. And right now you see he's leading the race, but he's still probably sensing something in his car.
Yeah, and exactly. You can see as he gets out front, he can't go. As long as he's pushing, that air's not on that hood, so it's not a big deal. They're 5 wide right now.
Look out,
you got
because
5 in line behind you now. 5 in line behind you. You're still pushing 4 wide.
Yeah, we are. We can see that plain as day. Look at this. This is getting real dicey. Somehow they all managed to survive. We went from 4 wide. Now we're just back to 3.
Yeah, it's calmed down a lot now. My hands are sweating. I know that.
Look down low as we get another push.
Looks like Harvick.
David Ruderman right behind him there, giving him the nudge. There's two slower cars. It looks like A.J. Allmendinger is, yes, he's going to go a lap down.
Well, that's the problem. You know, when you make those green flag stops, if you lose that draft by just a little bit, you lose a couple to 3 seconds a lap, and then before you know it, they're swallowing you up.
Remember, Robbie Gordon was up front at the beginning of the race. He just went a lap down as well with A.J. Allmendinger. So right now, 30 cars on the lead lap here at the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega. Let's check the motorsports calendar because NHRA action from Las Vegas tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN. And then NASCAR Now tonight at 11:30 on ESPN2. And, of course, the Roundtable tomorrow at 5 Eastern also on ESPN2. And then Nationwide Series action at Texas, noon Saturday on ESPN2. And then Sprint Cup Series from Texas presented by GoDaddy.com, 3 o'clock Eastern next Sunday on ESPN. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, a total of 18 leaders now, 34 lead changes. Here comes Kurt Busch to lay claim to 5 bonus points as well. He's now in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joey Logano, David Rudiman, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Elliott Sadler, and Juan Pablo Montoya. And we are still seeing 3 and 4 wide racing, and we are just about a third of the way through this race.
Look at Montoya. You can see he went from that top lane all the way to the bottom. See what he could get moving from right there. It's just a matter of, it's a guessing game all day. You see Harvick right on the bumper of David Rudiman trying to put a little distance.
Speaking of Rudiman, his boss Michael Waltrip made a pit stop during the break. He is now a lap down in 37th position. And let's check in on Jeff Gordon and company because he and Hamlin, Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, they're all running together 23rd through 26th position. Let's listen in on Jeff's radio.
I don't like getting this far back, man. I don't know what these guys are doing. I mean, they're going to be, if they get single file, we're gone. They're gone. Oh, yeah, we definitely got to go because that just broke us up.
What do you think?
They're still okay. As long as they have 3 fast race cars there together, those guys up front getting single file is not going to happen, Jeff. I can tell you. There's way too much racing going on up there. So you're okay right where they're at. We saw a group earlier get back 12 seconds and were able to run them down. So it gets crazy up front again.
Well, and they just picked up 2 seconds on the pack, and here's the reason why.
Whoa!
Look out!
Uh-oh, there goes
going across. That's Allmendinger sideways, but it looks like if he can keep it down.
Get a caution.
He's off the wall, and the first caution of the race is out.
Got crammed from behind by somebody.
Yeah, he got help. So A.J. Allmendinger, who freely admitted yesterday all the news going on about RPM racing has his stomach in knots, let alone having to race this place.
Yeah, you don't need that. It looked like Casey Kane got sideways, and A.J. kind of checked up, and car behind him didn't.
All right, let's go back and take another look at it, see what happened.
Yeah, it's getting kind of crazy up front. You see all these leaders spreading out.
Well, the 2 Red Bull cars got together. Scott Speed got him and AJ.
Looks like it might have been Keselowski that got into the back of AJ.
Plenty of room at that section of the track. And the only damage is to the rear of the car, as you see right there. Here's the angle from behind. See the 12? Yeah, 12 gets into the 43. We'll step aside for just a moment. Here is our first caution flies at Talladega. And we're back just in time. As you can see, everybody's heading down pit road except for Kevin Harvick. Well, more on that. Here's Jamie.
And Kyle Busch says 4 tires all day long. Track position doesn't matter. The car is so good. He's having so much fun out there. Last night's winner. 4 tires, Dave.
Junior was running up front, but the cowl flap on the right side is up in the air. Very obvious. And Junior said, you're going to need to snip that off and then again hammer back down. 4 tires of fuel otherwise, Vince.
The 1 car, Jamie McMurray, likes his car, especially when Juan Montoya is behind him, but he says he doesn't have enough car to do much pushing himself. 4 tires, no changes for McMurray.
Here's our made the faster moves on our faster race off pit road. And see Matt Kenseth with 2 tires picks up 7 spots and a 9-spot gain for a 2-tire stop for Casey Kane. And the big question mark is, did Kevin Harvick make a strategical error?
Got to think so. He missed pit road entrance right there. He was the only leader he was the leader and stayed out while everybody else came in.
While we've got a moment, let's get you the Aaron's Lucky Dog. It will be Robbie Gordon, as he will now come back on the lead lap, giving us 30 cars on the lead lap here at Talladega. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, as we are under our first caution of the day, as we've completed 72 of the 188 laps. All right, let's get an update on some of the strategy that was unfolding through all these pit stops. Dr. Jerry Punch, what are you hearing about the 29?
Well, it was a strategy move by Kevin Harvick. They decided to stay on the racetrack and lead more laps. It's all about the bonus points, but also the fact that they could keep someone they're chasing in the point standings from leading a lap by staying on the racetrack. So Kevin Harvick decided to stay out, led 2 more laps, and then came in and pitted a moment ago. Vince.
Well, one of the decisions made by the 11 team as to why they did not come with everyone else and stayed out and then came in later is just the fact that they wanted a clean pit road. Didn't want to take any chances of getting dinged up on pit road. They know they got plenty of race left and plenty of car to get to where they need to be. Marty?
Hamlin restart 26th, and Harvick in 23rd. Green flag flies. Up front it is Kenseth, Kyle Busch, McMurray, Rudiman, Logano, and Kane. What if David Rudiman doesn't win this race, he should get the award for having the best push. He has been helping so many different people today. Here he is right behind Kyle Busch, and here comes Jamie McMurray giving Kenseth.
I was going to ask you, Andy, in two-car breakaway, who has the advantage there?
I don't know. We'll see.
I guess the one going the shortest route is the way it looks right now.
Joey Logano's looking back and saying, whoops, why can't I get into this?
Looks like McMurray bailed out on his little deal he had.
Yeah, left Kenseth hanging, so Kyle Busch is going to lead the race.
Yeah, but he's getting ready to get run over almost here.
Yeah, Casey Kane was coming fast. 3 wide again as they head down into 1. You can see a little bit further back, Kurt Busch was down in that mix. Now we're going to drive 3 wide through 2. We're going to try and make it 4, guys. We've done that once today. Calmer heads prevail. We just keep it at 3. They fly down the backstretch. We can tell you there were 3 wave rounds. Michael Waltrip, Tony Stewart, Chad McCumbee. Waltrip and McCumbee get back on the lead lap. Tony Stewart is still 2 laps down.
Yeah, that flat tire early in the race really going to hurt Tony's chances. He's going to need a few more cautions to happen to make some things go his way and get him back in this race.
Sam Hornish gets left in the middle.
I'm watching Kevin Harvick right there. You know, he made that late pit stop, came out behind all these leaders, and he's really making his way to the front quickly. In 9th spot last lap.
He has stayed true to the game plan. I mean, you talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast.
Well, he's tried to be up front. There's been a lot of leaders, a lot of lead changes, and he's tried to be up there, but he's not able to do that on a consistent basis. We'll see if he can get back up front now.
Yeah, and I think in Kevin's position, he wanted to apply some pressure to these guys. I think we all said, you know, the good chance he could come out of here as the point leaders. We see Rudiman go to the front now. He had to get a little cool, fresh air to his radiator.
And just to let you know, Jimmy Johnson is 28th right now, and Denny Hamlin is in 32nd position. Meanwhile, the fun is up front as here we go again as Kenseth and McMurray are nose to tail.
Talk about 2 unlikely teammates hooking up right here. Is this David Rudiman and Kyle Busch? Weren't they like at each other not too many races ago?
I think it was Kansas.
Now they're all buddy-buddy.
Well, at least for the moment.
Yeah, what can you do for me right now?
Well, remember, Kyle Busch was in 2nd place in the truck race yesterday. If you saw that, he was pushing Eric Almirola and then went right past him at the closest finish in Truck Series history to win that race.
Yeah, he went by him sideways. That was an incredible job Kyle Busch did winning that race.
He's starting to catch on how to drive these things.
Right now, these two. Whoops. Look out, fellas.
See, Martin Truex really wanting to, thought he had a run on Casey Kane, but Casey shut the door.
A little more movement further back. Here comes Truex, giving Kane a really good, strong push. The first 2 still out in front by about 0.8 of a second, Rudiman and Kyle Busch. On the high side, that's Juan Pablo Montoya.
Now you see that's working for Martin Truex, pushing Casey Kane. Starting to gain a little ground on those front 2.
Clint Boyer pulls down to the low side. Robbie Gordon goes with him, but he's not close enough. Regan Smith right behind Robbie. Truex really giving the 83 a push.
There's our pole sitter, Montoya. He's looking for somebody to give him a little bit of a shove.
He's pulled
He
away.
might not need it.
Yeah, he's pulled away from the 17 and now is hooked up with Ruderman.
Here comes Kane to the inside, though. Didn't get the lead that lap.
Nope. Kyle Busch is credited with the lead. He is a 40th lead change. 18 different drivers have led this race today. Here we go again. 4 wide. Hang on. Sorts back out to 3 wide. And now they're still trying to make it 4 in the middle of the pack.
Oh, there you could see that Martin Truex is really wanting to go. I think he really just needed to get the temperature back down. He was hoping somebody might come with him, but they hung with Casey Kane.
Well, the guys that'll come with him are coming up from behind. They may pass him because he is dead in the middle of the track right now.
Well, he's found his teammate, David Ruderman, right now. Ruderman just getting right up to his bumper. Got to work that middle now.
Still 3 wide as they go through turns 1 and 2 again. Back in the 21st position, Jeff Burton. There we see him. What's the latest you're hearing, Doc?
Well, Marty, you got some repairs and got a big break in that previous caution in the pit stop. They came in the first time and they put 4 tires on it and 2 pop rivets at the back of the hood to hold the hood down. He left pit road and said, I got a bad vibration on 2 tires. They came back down pit road, changed 4 more tires, and added another pop rivet to the back of the hood. Note the vibration is gone, but the car still isn't running the way it was at the beginning of the race. Some nose damage up front on his Chevy.
Thanks for the update, Doc. And as we said, he is right now back at 16th position. He's picked up a few more spots. Meanwhile, up front, you can see what's going on there. And look who has gotten into the mix. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick back to the front. They have picked up 25 and 22nd places, respectively, since the restart.
Yeah, sure have. And I can tell you, I question Kevin Harvick's strategy of going, waiting, leading those laps and putting himself back in position. But he knows how capable he and his car are of going to the front. See a little bump draft in there. Teammates Jamie McMurray trying to give Montoya a little bit of a shove.
Gonna have to be careful how far he shoves him because Regan Smith's right in front of Montoya.
You think about Harvick's strategy staying out right there. You'd think he might be able to lead more laps by pitting with the leaders and getting back out with the lead. But by staying out, he kept Jimmy Johnson from staying out and leading the lap. So still, to this point of the race, Jimmy Johnson has not led a lap.
Well, Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. And our top speed, 205 miles an hour by Regan Smith. And the fastest lap of the race so far, 47.57 seconds by our pole sitter, Juan Pablo Montoya. For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. And speaking of speed, we have plenty of it here at Talladega. Oh, here we go. 4 wide again as they head for the corner.
There's teammates working together. Jamie McMurray's pushing Montoya back to the front of this.
So Montoya is out front of Jamie McMurray, Truex, Earnhardt Jr., and Hornish. That's your top 5 here at Talladega. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Peyton Manning and the Colts seek revenge for a Week 1 loss to AFC South rivals, the Texans, in a game where Arian Foster ran away with a stellar breakout performance. It's the Texans-Colts. It's ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown served up by Applebee's. That was easy for me to say.
Shouldn't be a lack of points scored in that game.
No, I don't think
Be
so.
pretty entertaining like this race.
It sure is. Juan Pablo Montoya is up front right now with Jamie McMurray, Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, Casey Kane. That's your top 5. We've had 45 lead changes between 18 different drivers. In fact, the most laps led is 12 by Dale Earnhardt Jr. out of the 86. But there is a development further back in this field. Denny Hamlin has lost contact with the pack. There he is. He is a full 25 seconds behind. What's going on, Vince?
They're not worrying down here. He just simply lost the draft. And Denny Hamlin and crew chief Mike Ford have been discussing their situation. Going to try to get up and get with somebody. They know there's a lot of race left. They know they've got a good race car. So no problems in their mind, but certainly it looks dramatic. Jamie?
And Kyle Busch Busch, Denny's teammate, came on the radio and said, guys, what's happening with Denny? Do I need to drop back and wait for him to help him move forward? Dave Rogers' crew chief said, theoretically, I should say yes, but I would hate to see both of us lose this race.
Well, he is half a track behind. I mean, Denny right now is in the tri-oval. These guys are in the middle of the backstretch. That gives you an idea of what is going on right now.
Yeah, and he's losing 3 seconds a lap. So, they might be saying that they're not too concerned, but they have to be concerned right at this moment, especially as we've seen, only one caution to this point.
There you see Kyle Busch. Kyle is 28th right now, and he is 4 seconds behind the race lead because he's in the mix of that pack that is freight training their way around this 2.66 mile oval.
Yeah, and you might ask how Denny Hamlin could lose the draft. I mean, he has a fast race car, but if you're hanging out back there and something happens that you see and all of a sudden you jump out of the gas right quick, you can't recover, especially if nobody's pushing you from behind. And next thing you know, you're losing 3 seconds a lap, Andy, and you can't catch up.
Once you lose contact, then it's done. It's over. You can't get it back unless you have somebody to run with.
Well, guys, we have 100 laps to go. This is the first time today where we've seen pretty much a single file. The two cars right there that are on the inside line. But really, this is the first time where it hasn't been side by side. There you see Michael Waltrip. And let's listen in on his radio. He was talking about Denny Hamlin.
Hey, but Levin's kind of lost it, and he's asking for some help here. 11 is just entering the tri-oval now, so we need to think about that. He's way back, junk.
He's way back.
Yeah, he's just so far behind. I mean, he's over a half a lap behind Michael at this point.
Yeah, you can't get back. You can't put yourself in that position right now. I don't think, even though we've seen two cars run faster, they're going to have a hard time. That'd be a huge chance for somebody to take. Obviously, Michael in the situation he's in, he could help a Toyota friend there.
Denny is now 30 seconds behind the race leader. Rusty, you want to jump in on this?
Oh, man, I tell you, I disagree with some of the stuff up there. I'd take, if I was Michael Waltrip, that 55 car, he's got nothing to lose. He's just doing a couple of races a year. Go on back there and help that Toyota teammate of Denny Hamlin. Those two guys hooked up. They can put out some fast laps and not lose any more than he's losing. I think that's what he should do. And I got to tell you, I really think that's what Joe Gibbs guys are thinking right now. Hamlin's in trouble. He does not need to go a lap down, and they can fix this problem right now, guys, if they do something about it right now.
I almost agree with you, Rusty, because if he does go back there and help Denny Hamlin, Denny's going to owe him a big-time favor, and nobody pushes on this track better than Denny Hamlin. If it came down to the end of this race, Michael Waltrip could be the winner.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that'd be a great thing for Michael Waltrip to do, or any of the Joe Gibbs guys, because, Andy, we know that two cars running bumper to bumper can outrun this whole field.
Yeah, the problem that you run into, though, is that switching back and forth back there. You're going to lose time in that, too. So it's going to be very iffy if they would be able to stay out there and keep that pace for very long. Even though we see how the two cars can run, it makes it difficult because of how long you can do it and taking a chance of running them hot.
Yeah, and it's getting worse by the second, too, because now the pack is in the tri-oval. Denny Hamlin's now coming off turn 2. They're catching him really quick.
He's 36 seconds behind. In fact, the last time down the backstretch, you saw Denny, as here we go with another potential pass for the lead. Montoya still credited with the lead that lap, but here we go with the 88 of Earnhardt Jr. taking over the top spot with the help from Jeff Burton.
Yeah, you can see steam coming out of Jeff Burton's car there where he's been up on the bumper. His car's running a little bit warm now. Don't see it here, but we saw it there as he went through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen, because once you start losing that coolant, even if it gets hot, it's not a big deal, but when you start losing that water out of the radiator, that's when it can get critical.
97 laps to go here at Talladega at the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega Super Speedway.
Just past halfway at Talladega. Here's our Dodge race rundown. What's happened so far? Lead changes by the box full.
Oh, tons of lead changes. Every single lap, it seems like these guys are getting a lot of momentum, making the lead changes. Look right here, Jeff Burton right there on the inside, Matt Kenseth on the outside. Guys are passing like crazy.
And besides the general lead changes up front, we've seen the two-car draft be a big deal today.
The phenomenon of the two-car draft, absolutely remarkable to watch two cars hook up. If there have any similarities at all, they really take off and check out on the field. It's unbelievable watching these cars dance around in these two-car pods all day long, really fast.
And as far as the top contenders in the chase for the Cup, two of them have led today. Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick have led a lap. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson has not. And Hamlin, the one that's in trouble right now. Johnson's running 28th. Harvick is running up in 5th position. But Denny Hamlin is back in 31st position. He lost the draft a little while ago, and he's about to get put a lap down, right?
And as fast as two cars are together, one is equally as slow. We've seen a difference of 3 seconds per lap. You lose the draft here, you're going a lap down fairly quickly.
So there you see Hamlin, and just behind him, here comes the pack.
Don't look in the mirror. Vince, you got something on Denny Hamlin down there for us.
Well, I'll tell you, Denny Hamlin has not said a word on the radio. Mike Ford has remained calm, but I don't know how they can with that sight coming in his rearview mirror. I can tell you that Joe Gibbs and J.D. Gibbs had a conversation down below the pit box, and then Joe Gibbs went up top on the pit box and spoke with the crew chief, Mike Ford. Now, I spoke with J.D. Gibbs, and he said that they had considered trying to get one of the other Toyota teams to drop back, but the fact that Denny was so far back prohibited them from doing so. He said, right now, we just got to see what we got and what happens. Not a good position.
Tell Joe it's time for the old Hail Mary play.
And just a little added drama twist. Remember on the set of caution flag pit stops, a little while ago, Kevin Harvick stayed out and didn't pit with the leaders. If he continues to do that, that takes the tool of the wave around out of Hamlin's crew chief Mike Ford's hands.
Yeah, we're seeing some great strategy with some of these new rules. Not only did he stop Jimmy Johnson from leading a lap, but if he's going to control a race like that, he can stop these guys from taking the wave around and getting the lap back. You know, looking at the number of cars on the lead lap, we have less cars on the lead lap than we've had here in the past, and that might be a factor of Kevin doing that.
While we watch Kevin Harvick, Andy, you want to debate that, whether it takes that tool of the wave around out of their hands or not?
Well, here's the only problem with that. It does if the leader stays out until they get the one to go, because that's when the wave around starts.
Right.
They have to make a pit stop by then if they're going to make one, and they can't. They wouldn't sit out there on a quarter of a tank of fuel just to keep somebody down a lap from taking that wave around. So I don't think you'll see them do that. I don't think we'll go to that drastic a measure, because they would have to stay out themselves.
But if they stay out until one to go and then pit, that does take that away from the 11 car, right?
Well, if they stay out to one to go, they have missed their opportunity to pit. They'll have to be pitting under green, because the field will be coming around to get the green while they're coming down pit road.
Well, no matter what happens, I can tell you one thing. This is a huge mistake on Denny Hamlin's part. Unbelievable that nobody went back there and got him when they had the opportunity to help him.
All right, so here it goes. Denny Hamlin's about to go a lap down, and now he's got some work to do as we go upstairs to Marty, DJ, and Andy.
Yeah, the big question now, Alan, is he's got to find somebody to tuck in behind, because this has been a single file line for about the last 10, 12 laps.
Yeah, the biggest thing, he's going to have to try to keep himself in that lucky dog spot. There are other cars one lap down, and he's going to have to try to run hard right here. And I know Rusty said it was a mistake. Sometimes, I said yesterday, I've done this type thing, following the back. It's hard work back there. You can't just go back there and sit. You have to really pay attention to what's going on. And when you get yourself in a position when nobody's behind you and anything happens, you have to check up a little bit. This is a situation you find yourself in. So maybe they'll get fortunate right here soon, get a caution where they can get back on the lead lap.
Well, you saw David Ruderman open the door, and that allowed his fellow Toyota compatriot, Denny Hamlin, to slide on in. And we'll find out now. The car that Denny has to keep the tabs on, the 6 of David Reagan. If Reagan gets ahead of Denny, he would not be in the position for the lucky dog here at the AMP Energy Juice 500 in Talladega. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, you want to see how fast things can change? David Ruderman has helped get Denny Hamlin at the tail end of the lead lap. He's leading the freight train, but look out on the inside. Kevin Harvick's coming.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick wants to put him back a lap down, though. He knows this guy's racing for the championship, so his teammate hooked up with him. Now Harvick's got Hamlin back a lap down.
He's still in the lucky dog position. That's the one bit of good news for Denny Hamlin. Let's get an update on the 29, Doc.
Just spoke with Gil Martin. He said, we're going to do whatever we can to put the 11 a lap down, which had just gone by. And he said, and by the way, if we get a caution flag, we're going to stay out again as long as we can. Whatever we have to do to keep that 48 from leading a lap. Well, let's stay on the racetrack until the green flag waves if we have to come down and pit. But we're not going to let Jimmy Johnson lead a lap if we can help it.
And just to give you an idea, that's 5 bonus points, how important they are right now. And, of course, as we always say, this is going to change, and usually does, but look how this would shake things up.
Yeah, and Harvick certainly would like to stay out here. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has led 22 laps. Harvick's got a lot more to lead, but he'd like to rack up some laps here right now, trying to get those extra bonus points for leading the most laps.
Again, we remind you that Denny Hamlin's biggest worry, as long as he's in that lucky dog spot, the 6 of David Reagan.
I'm sorry, Marty, we're not but just a few laps away from green flag stops. That's going to mix things up again, and you see teammates Montoya and McMurray now taking the lead.
Looks like we may have our 50th lead change as we have 19 different leaders so far today.
You see him running single file, but that's going to change here in just a few laps when they start making these green flag stops.
Let's get an update on the top 2. Vince Welch.
Well, the teammates Juan Pablo Montoya and Jamie McMurray, it should be no surprise they're running strong. Montoya finished 3rd here in April, and McMurray was 2nd. They're strong again today, and they really work well together. In fact, McMurray said his car is best when it's with Montoya's. He said it's good around some others, but there's no doubt it's working best when it's with the 42. Right now, he said, Montoya said that he's feeling a little bit of a vibration. They're not overly concerned about it, but anytime a driver's feeling a vibration at these speeds, he can't be totally comfortable.
Well, Juan Pablo has finished 2nd here back in April of 08 and 3rd in April earlier this year, and right now he is out in front as we look a little bit deeper back in the field and check in on Kyle Busch as he is 23rd right now. And Sprint brings you an inside look at the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on the Now Network. Let's listen in.
00 says we're faster when we're leading and he's pushing. If it comes down to it, they might go to 29 because they think they're faster pushing the 29 than us. Whoever restarts up front, in front or behind each other and pushes like hell, it's all it comes down to anymore, unless they let this thing go green to the end.
For more NASCAR stats, in-car audio, and live race radio, check out NASCAR Sprint Cup Mobile at sprint.com/speed. Here we go again. Matt Kenseth looks like he's going to take the point right now with Jeff Burton behind. And pit stops are just around the corner. 80 laps to go next time by here at the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega. Welcome back to the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Right now, we've had 19 different leaders, 54 lead changes here at Talladega. We still have 77 laps to go, and a total of 29 cars on the lead lap. The first car, 1 lap down, is on the inside track there, the 11 of Denny Hamlin. And 2 cars are out of this race, Dave Blaney and Jeff Fuller. Dale Earnhardt Jr., who led 90 laps last week. Look out, this could be the big one.
Nice save, Jamie McMurray. Wow.
Jamie wrecked, he just didn't know it. I mean, that was a heck of a save. And we mentioned the fact that pit stops were coming, and here comes 5 cars in on this lap. So another round of green flag pit stops, and we just missed having the big one. So as Dale Earnhardt Jr. leads his 23rd lap, right behind him is Boyer, Harvick, Smith, and Menard. Let's go to Jamie.
And Kyle Busch taking 4 tires was the initial call. He said that's what he wants all day long. They took a tear off the windshield. These guys complaining about their sight. Let's go over to Dave.
Kurt Busch in the 2 car. He'll take 4 tires, full of Sunoco fuel, no changes at all. Sam Hornish on pit road as well, the 77.
So the first group of 5 cars now making their way back out, and they have to stay together. There's Kurt right behind his Penske teammate. Here comes another 7 cars heading for pit road. Dale Jr. stays out with a push from Clint Boyer. He'll lead another lap. Jamie.
Matt Kenseth making his way down pit road into his pit box. He says the car is just so slow. He's actually getting better when he pushes other manufacturers. He said, I just can't push our own right now. Wants a little more speed. I don't think they can do it here. The 99 of Carl Edwards is in. He's saying the same thing that the 17 is. They're trying to lock up and stay there to the end, but they tried it once, and it didn't turn out the way they had hoped.
So as they come back out, there is Carl Edwards. He did lead a couple of laps during one of our commercial breaks, and before we even got a chance to come back, he was passed. And right now getting back out on the track, Greg Biffle coming out as well. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and company. So we've got a few more cars getting ready to come in. There is Dale leading this pack. Jamie McMurray, Juan Pablo Montoya, Jeff Burton, Jimmy Johnson. A lot of cars coming in this group. Let's send it to Dr. Jerry Punch.
Chassis adjustment for Jeff Burton. Tear off on the windshield. Right side tires, now left side tires. They go all with 4 tires, and that means they can make it now on just 1 more stop. Dave.
48 of Jimmy Johnson is in right now. They're going to make a 2-tire stop. This time, wait on the fuel, and now go. That was a mistake they made on their first pit stop. Vince?
Denny Hamlin's crew, they made a late decision. They were going to take 4, and at the very last moment, they decided to take 2. So we'll see how it works out for the 11 of Hamlin.
So, as they come back out, here comes another group of cars, including Clint Boyer, Paul Menard, Martin Truex Jr., David Rudiman. 17 of Matt Kenseth, 2 fast entering. Let's go to Jamie.
David Rudiman is in. Car is much better today than it was in practice. They adjusted that splitter. It has helped the way that he runs with other cars. 4 tire stop. Nope. They decided on right sides only, Doc.
4 tires for Kevin Harvick, and they're very emphatic. You've got to get it full of fuel. Very careful. No lug nut issues. Get it completely full of fuel. 4 tires, and he's away.
You see everybody else trying to work their way back out onto the track. 55 miles an hour is the speed limit. And again, it was a 17 of Matt Kenseth, 2 fast entering. He has served his drive-through. Here comes the pack right now. There's Jimmy Johnson with the 88 right tucked up underneath with Dale Earnhardt Jr. The 19 of Elliott Sadler. Group on the low line coming back out, trying to get back up to speed. Remember, with the restrictor plates, it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, about a lap at least to get yourself up to speed. That's why you can see these guys that have been back out there after their pit stops have a lot of momentum. Things get really dicey here whenever you're leading this. Guys trying to get in and be a part of the draft. They don't want to lose touch with that. Sometimes they'll make some moves that a little bit risky.
So right now, David Rudiman is your race leader. Marcus Ambrose, Clint Boyer, 2nd and 3rd. Truex, Johnson, they're duking it out for 4th position. And let's go back to that moment where, I mean, all 3 of us were holding our breath, and I think a lot of you were as well.
Yeah, this could have been a game changer, so to speak. You see Jeff Burton just gets in Jamie McMurray. That could have been big.
Great save by Jamie. And we are still under green. Here comes Jimmy Johnson. Remember, they were trying to keep him back. Harvick was, and it doesn't look like he's been able to do it. 48 took 2 tires on that stop.
Yeah, he had a lot of help from Dale Earnhardt Jr. to get to the point he is now. And now he's lost Junior, so I don't know if he's going to be able to lead this lap or not. Obviously not going to lead this one.
While all this is going on, I'll remind you, Denny Hamlin is still 1 lap down. He is 35th. There are 4 other cars in front of him that are also 1 lap down. So he has got some work to do to get back into the lucky dog position. Right now, Eric Almirola is our 20th different leader. We've had 58 lead changes. The one thing we haven't had, the big one, yet.
We didn't need to look at those wheels, did we, Richard? Tired of listening to your excuses, Richard. Damn it. Drive the car, man. Having your car as fast as it'll go. It's about 5 seconds to lose 7 spots. I mean, it'll take all night to pass everybody back. If you're going to make a mistake, you got to make little ones. Because you can't make rookie mistakes. Look like a bunch of buffoons. So tired of that cutting me off. I'm telling you, Gil, he's out of mulligan. I mean, he's done it to me. That's the 3rd time now.
The passion and the anger of Kevin Harvick. And Harvick right now getting a push from Paul Menard as he is trying to fight his way back to the front. Jimmy Johnson tried to lead a lap. He did not succeed. So one of Harvick's goals, to deny Johnson those 5 bonus points, has been met. But he's still frustrated. Listen in.
You feel like that, Gil. We can't try to help each other to a detriment. And that's exactly what happened right there. You got to pit with the pack. Everybody around us agreed to pit on that lap. They bailed out into that corner. What I'm telling you is we got to pit with the pack.
Doc, you've got more?
Well, the whole scenario there was that Kevin wanted to come in when everybody else was pitting, and he thought the 31 and the 88 were going to run more and more lap. And that what he talked about was the 31 and the 88 of Earnhardt Jr. bailed and came down a lap early, and that really hurt him on that stop. He ran 1 more lap and pitted. So what he was telling his crew chief, we have got to pit with the pack.
All right, thanks, Doc. And right now you see Ryan Newman up front. He is at the tail end of the lead lap. In fact, he is 29th position, right in front of our race leader, Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, but Bart getting in a wreck. Kevin Harvick's so good, and his car is so fast. I'm not sure of position he can get in that he can't recover from.
He has come from the back, the middle, And every time he's managed to get back up to the front. Right now, you saw Denny Hamlin streak through. He is in 34th position. There are 3 cars in front of him for the lucky dog position. There is Jimmy Johnson. He'd pretty much like that spot if they were on the same lap, but they're not, Dave Burns.
Well, Marty, and they, like you said, they came so close to leading a lap by virtue of their teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr., pushing him through. And think of what happened. Jr. had been running up front. He took on 4 tires. Jimmy had been running in the back. They took on 2, and they matched up pretty quickly when they got back to the track. But they did not get that lap led, and they'll try to see what they can do later. Interesting comments early in the race from crew chief Chad Knaus to spotter Earl Barban. We're racing to win. Be cautious until that point. That's really the first time that Earl has had to call Jimmy through the pack, and he's going to have to do it again before the day's over.
All right, Dave, as you can see, there's Jimmy right behind Mark Martin, 3 wide with Martin Truex in the middle. Down low, the 99, Paul Menard, right in front of Paul. That is Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin's got a fight on his hands to try to get in that spot to take that lucky dog should the caution come out. There are a lot of cars here trying to get that spot.
Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, Reagan. I mean, there's a passel of cars that he has got to fight for that position. There's Burton down low again. Up on the high side, Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, we've seen the 1 and the 42 work together and the 31 and the 17 work. Now they've switched partners to see what's going to happen.
I think Kyle Busch said it best. He says you can't pick your partner. You just got to go with the guy that is moving.
That's what you do. You know, that's all you can do is sit there and get yourself in a position, get somebody on your bumper that you know has a fast race car so you can go.
Well, as we get ready to complete lap number 125, let's let the engines roar and the drivers to amp it up.
You're clear, 77, 78, silver help.
There you go, that's a run. That's what I'm talking about, no help.
He's on the bottom here. Coming inside 98. Coming inside, middle 3. Find the 9 right there. To the 5. 5 to your bumper. 3 wide.
Just some of the action that goes on in just one lap here at Talladega Superspeedway. This time by, we'll have 62 laps to go, 22 leaders, 64 lead changes. And right now, Clint Boyer is shown out front of Jeff Burton, Juan Pablo Montoya, Jamie McMurray, Eric Almirola. Ryan Newman doing all he can to try and stay on the tail end of the lead lap here at the AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega.
AMP Energy Juice 500 at Talladega is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance. Enter this code at codespotter.com for a chance to win a Roush Ford Mustang. Silver Star Ultra headlights from Sylvania. See farther, see wider, see better. And AT&T.
Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, we have 57 laps to go, 22 leaders, 68 lead changes, and the action has been non-stop from the drop of the green flag. We've had just 1 caution for 4 laps here today. Up front, it is Juan Pablo Montoya side by side with Clint Boyer. Behind Montoya, you've got Jamie McMurray and Elliott Sadler in a 3-car push. Behind Boyer, well, there's a whole bunch of cars. Oh, whoa, look out. Elliott slides up and almost slid right up into Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, you got to make that move a little bit sooner there if you're going to try to slide up and take advantage of that fast-coming pack.
Coming through the tri-oval, and again, Montoya with McMurray, Boyer, Rudiman, and Jeff Burton now in the 5th position.
See Rudiman on the inside.
That's Kurt Busch in the middle right there. Update you on Denny Hamlin's position. He is in 32nd position. There's Kyle Busch. Kyle in the 11th spot right now. Here we go for the battle for the lead. Looks like Jamie McMurray's got the help from Clint Boyer. Rudeman in third. This time by, we'll have 56 laps remaining. First off, DJ, when is it go time, as we always talk about in races, or is it totally different here?
Yeah, you don't really have to start going until about 15 to go. You can see how quickly you can make your way from the back to the front, but you have to know what your car is capable of doing, so that will determine a little bit as to when you need to go, but 15 laps is plenty of time.
What about the intensity factor? Everybody in the back of their minds thinking about, oh, okay, we haven't had the big one yet.
Well, what you're going to start seeing after we make this last pit stop is everybody trying to get themselves positioned. So the bump drafting is going to become a little more intense. There's going to be guys that are going to be shutting these holes that we've seen them allow some drivers to get in. That's not going to happen.
Well, we're seeing some intense racing right now because you got Denny Hamlin a lap down, you got Bobby Labonte, you got David Reagan, and even Ryan Newman trying to get that spot and get up where they can get back on the lead lap. They're not going to let up. They're going to be racing as hard as they can right now, and they're in the middle of this group.
And Denny Hamlin has now just put himself into the lucky dog position as long as Ryan Newman stays on that tail end of the lead lap, the 39 up front there. Let's get an update on the 11 from Vince Welch.
Well, then, Marty, they have really been digging to get in that lucky dog position. As you had noted a little bit earlier, 7-8 cars at one time had been in front of Hamlin in regards to that lucky dog position. Hamlin has said nothing. It's the quietest I've ever heard him on the radio. His spotter doing all the work as he works his way through this traffic. Mike Ford, the crew chief, hasn't said anything. Now we've got a problem, Marty.
Jeff Burton has got tagged from behind, turned into the wall. So far, it looks like he is the only victim. A hard hit for Jeff Burton.
Yeah.
Now there's flame shooting out of the right side as the oil line. Our caution here, second of the day with 54 laps remaining. The window net's down. Jeff is climbing out. And Dale Jr. is heading for the garage area. Burton was shown as fifth on the last lap, and you can see the frustration as he kicks the side door.
He had a great car today. He knows that he had a shot to win this thing.
That's what's so frustrating about driving here. You know you've got a fast race car, you're doing everything right, and all of a sudden it's taken away.
Pretty well killed, Todd.
Let's go back and show you what happened. Watch the 31.
Yeah, it looked like just a little bit too much help
from Junior. Was lucky that wasn't a big wreck right there.
Dale's damage on the right side of his car. Joey Logano, Greg Biffle, both of them miss. How about from Denny Hamlin's point of view?
You can see right there, they're in the middle of the corner, and it doesn't take much. And that's why NASCAR's always tried to tell them.
Caution will be coming out.
This bump drafting in the corners is a bad idea.
Well, here's the bad news for Denny Hamlin. As you get one more look at this, see where the 39 is of Ryan Newman? He had just been passed again, so he is in the lucky dog position and not Hamlin.
You saw Harvick come across the apron really hard there. He may have gotten some damage. And you can see how frustrated Jeff is now.
He had a good race car today.
Yeah, he did.
All right, here we go. Another round of pit stops. With 53 laps to go, Jamie Little will send it your way.
Well, just before the caution flag flew, Clint Boyer was giddy on the radio, having so much fun out there leading this race. The call is 4 tires and pack it full of Sunoco fuel. Doc?
Kevin Harvick says, I got into somebody, I've got damage on the splitter, and I've got something rubbing. Gil, talking about crew chief Gil Martin, they're going to change the tires and take a look. Vince.
One car, Jamie McMurray, had made some contact there with Jeff Burton, knocked the toe out of the one. It's going to be a little bit longer stop, looking to make a 2-tire stop. The 42 is come and gone, and by the way, Juan Pablo Montoya said he was getting too hard of a push from his teammate McMurray.
You can see him taking a look at the damage on the left side of the 29.
Yeah, we're going to spend a lot of time here. You got a lot of time to do this with the caution car running around this big track. And they don't really worry about going to the back because they can get there pretty quickly.
Yeah, but the one thing they were worried about was Jimmy Johnson leading the lap. Well, who's just got a 5-point bonus for leading.
Yeah, they couldn't fight him off here.
Okay, everything's all good.
Doc, what are you hearing down there?
Well, Kevin Harvick thought he had something rubbing in the left front. He said, I got into the back of a car when the thing happened with Burton up there, and I think I bent the splitter. The splitter looked okay to me, and Gil Martin had the guys crawl around the front of the car. They don't see any damage to the splitter. Pulled the left front tire off, went in behind the splitter, and pulled the fender out, but all the braces are okay, and they told Kevin he should be fine.
Did you notice something, DJ?
Just looking at those braces on the splitter, it looked like maybe a couple where he may have had to come down off the track might have bent those a little bit. So that splitter may be a little higher,
yeah,
which would hurt, hurt his car aerodynamically.
They were trying to fix that, but if you try to get that splitter down, sometimes you can break those braces, so they didn't want to really hurt it.
Well, our second caution gave the 39 of Ryan Newman, the Aaron's lucky dog, so he'll get back onto the lead lap, and we'll reset it for you when we come back to Talladega. Under our second caution here at Talladega for a two-car crash involving two cars that were capable of winning this race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. had led 24 laps. Jeff Burton had led 11. Here's what happened. Some contact from behind sends the 31 into Jamie McMurray and then up against the wall with the 88. Those two cars are behind the wall right now. It allowed Jimmy Johnson to stay out and lead for the first time today, so he has picked up 5 bonus points. And meanwhile, Ryan Newman got back on the lead lap, but not Denny Hamlin. Some other people have topped off on pit road. Let's revisit the AT&T Fastest Pit Crew of the Year award. The fastest pit crew is determined by the winner of each race and the fastest pit time and your vote. Be sure to text the car number to 2258 for your pit crew choice. We'll restart when we come back. Getting ready to go back. The green flag is in the air, and we're racing again at Talladega with Montoya, Rudiman, Menard, Logano, Robbie Gordon, Sam Hornish Jr., your top 6. "50 laps of racing here at Talladega. And it looks just the same as it did when we started lap 1.
And it's only going to get more exciting from this point forward. See Logano giving David Rudiman a nice push. Get him back out front.
Rudiman has been the mix so much today, either helping others or getting helped.
Almenar's got locked on to Montoya's bumper now. Let's see how quickly they can get back to the front.
Three wide further back. Kyle Busch is in that mix, as is Mark Martin. He's in the middle.
To make this two-car push work, you have to be in contact all the way around the racetrack.
Jimmy Johnson's hung out there on the high side looking for some help. While all this is going on, let's get caught up with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's back in the garage area.
And he has been checked out at the medical center. He is okay. Jeff Burton's still back there being checked out. And Dale looked like he had a rocket ship. What happened out there?
I got in the back of Burton and got him out of control. And I just, we've been pushing each other all day long and got into him the wrong way. I guess my car was kind of going up the track and then kind of pulled it back into his car around when we caught each other. And I seen him in the infield care center. He's all right. But had a real good car, awesome engine, and just kind of having fun out there running around, seeing what you can do, and got a little too excited, ended early.
They're going to get him back out with a damaged race car, but it will not be nearly as much fun, he told me a moment ago, with the car that he's got to go back on the racetrack, guys.
He led a race high 24 laps right now. He's one of our 24 different leaders. We've had 75 lead changes. Remember, the record is 88. Look out. 4 going around. Marcus Ambrose. 29 and Kevin Harvick is involved as well. So Harvick, who had been running up front all day to avoid this, now has damage to the front.
It's too bad. Just put some tires on it.
The 26 of Bill Elliott also involved. There's the damage to the nose. He says it's not too bad on the radio. It looks a little worse.
Yeah, I think it's a little worse. Definitely worse than he thinks.
Just time with flat tires.
It's like Denny Hamlin might
it ain't like it's crinkled up. We'll be fine.
According to scoring, Denny will be the beneficiary.
47 there and spun him out. I know both of them helping us all they can.
We're being told that the 11 was involved in this. Don't know how much damage. We'll have to double check that with NASCAR.
Well, the rule is that if he was involved in this accident, then he will not get the lucky dog.
All right, let's see what we can find out.
See Ambrose right here. They got actually 4 wide right here. See Kyle Busch going to the inside. Kind of squeezes into 33, gets into the back, and then the left rear quarter panel. There's Harvick getting involved.
Gordon misses it.
don't see where the 11 was involved.
Nope, didn't see it there.
4 wide right there, 4 wide. Come on, stay in it, stay in it.
From Harvick's camera. Now, Harvick's just going to be in a position here that he was not wanting to be. Yeah, you can see there's going to be a lot of damage on the front of Kevin Harvick's car. You feel like sometimes when you're sitting in there, there's not that much. It wasn't that hard. From Marcus Ambrose.
He's going to go 3 wide middle, 4 wide.
Yeah, Kyle's the one that kind of started that.
All right, get a stop.
You can see Kyle Busch goes right down to the bottom. He's not doing anything wrong. It's just that the 42 really doesn't know that he needs to give Marcus Ambrose some more room. That's where things get started, and Clint Boyer couldn't stay off the rear bumper of Marcus Ambrose. See Jeff Gordon just sliding by.
You see the 11 car right back in the back of that. I don't see him involved at all in this.
Ah, there he is coming through.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll wait for official word from NASCAR. See Bill Elliott hit the wall hard down on the inside.
All the way to the bottom. One's on your bumper. Trouble in front of you. Trouble in front of you. Stay on the track. Stay on the track.
And we've just gotten official word from NASCAR. Yes, Denny Hamlin will get the lucky dog. He will be back on the lead lap. So the bad news for Harvick is good news for Denny Hamlin. Well, as we promised, this is far from over. Even though we have 47 laps to go, we'll sort it all out and start it over again when we come back. Back here at Talladega Superspeedway, our third caution of the day, and everybody taking advantage of this to load up on fuel, get some fresh tires, and especially with the possibility of a green-white checker. Let's send it to Jamie Little.
4th straight Talladega race that Joey Logano has led. It was a splash and go. There are no tires.
Fuel only for Regan Smith. Likewise, no tires, filling up with fuel. Top it off, and he's away. Dave.
48 of Jimmy Johnson's going to come down pit road, and they are going to take on 4 tires and fill it full of fuel. That last run, they would have been 5 laps short, so this is a good idea for them. Vince?
The 11 car of Denny Hamlin had an open box in front of him. They're going to make a 4-tire change and give it plenty of fuel. Hamlin got the lucky dog thanks to that yellow. He's back on the lead lap. It's been a tough go so far, but they were taking a big sigh of relief when they got that lucky dog on that yellow. You see the stop, had a little bit of problem there on the right rear, pulling out the flare. And there goes the 11 of Denny Hamlin. A big fuel spill down here.
And a little body work going on the 48.
They got a tap in one of those crashes.
The view from right on the camera that's out the back. Chad in a very familiar position, overseeing everything that goes on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Well, it has been one of those days at Talladega. For some, it's been exciting, and others, yeah, not so good. For the 31 of Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr., they're out of it right now. The reason for our latest caution, Marcus Ambrose with damage to chase contender Kevin Harvick. And right now, as we get ready to go back to green flag racing, got to do a couple of things. One, there was 8 waiver rounds on the caution prior. That's what allowed Denny Hamlin to get into the lucky dog position. He is now back on the lead lap 3 this time. And right now, let's talk about Joey Logano, because he's up front, but you don't like what you see on that right front.
No, they didn't change tires here, and he locked that up for quite a while. It could be flat spotted there, possibly blow out a tire.
Then Denny Hamlin, he has plenty of fuel, but then watch what happens. Everybody took a bath. And now, 3 more waiver rounds this time. Nemechek, McDowell, McCumbee, a total of 33 on the lead lap. And Tony Stewart is in the lucky dog position, just 1 lap down. Remember when he was 2 laps down? Here we go, green flag 5s. It's Logano, Kurt, and Kyle Busch, Truex, Menard, Montoya. We'll tell you that Kevin Harvick restarted in the 26th position. We'll keep tabs on him and see how the damage to the front of his Chevrolet works out.
See the 3 Toyotas up on the high side. The 2 Gibbs cars stretched it out a little bit on this restart.
You're wondering where Jimmy Johnson is right now? He is running in 26th position. He and Denny Hamlin are side by side.
4 wide through the tri-oval. Back down to 3 wide.
24 different leaders now as Joey Logano's got his name in the book. 77 lead changes. The record is 88. And we still have 42 laps remaining. 3 wide again.
Yeah, 42 laps of hard racing now. These guys have been patient really as long as they want to today.
Montoya giving Truex a push on the high side. Logano looking for help from his teammate from Kyle Busch, but they're not close enough. In fact, Kyle's getting a push more from Jeff Gordon. Gordon has finally moved himself into the front mix. He had been laying back most of the race. Down low, you see Kurt Busch with Paul Menard right behind him.
Well, Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin aren't in this first pack. They're back in this next little group that you'd see coming. They're really nose to tail, just hanging out, waiting a little bit longer before they decide to make their move.
They're thinking that something big's still to happen.
Oh yeah, there's a lot, and there's no reason to wait back there all day and try to go now, because you're just going to possibly get yourself into something else. So you might as well wait a little bit longer. You've been patient this long, you can hang out a little longer.
We can tell you Kevin Harvick is running 18th right now. Johnson 29th, Hamlin 30th.
See, Jamie McMurray getting ready to get lapped right here also. He's got quite a bit of damage from that previous, actually 2 cautions ago. Comes Kurt Busch.
And while all this goes on, let's bring in the pit studio guys. You got some observations down there?
Marty, down here with Rusty, Brad, and Ray. We've had 3 cautions, but everything's been relatively minor. All due respect to Jeff Burton, but we haven't had the big wreck yet. If you're inside these race cars, for those of you that have been there, if you're up on these pit boxes, are you getting more and more and more tense as we go?
I just personally feel the intensity building. I mean, I think these guys feel like they're running out of time. Take a look at a guy like Kevin Harvick, who's got a lot of damage on his car right now. He's like, man, I got to get back in the game. I got myself in a wreck. I got myself too far back here. If I was him, I'd be up in the wheel pretty hard. And right now he's in the 13th position. And the car looks like it's running good. Last time by the same speed as the leader, but what about Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon? These guys are hanging out in the back. They don't know what's going to happen yet. They're trying to think, Ray, when's the best time to go? I can feel these guys getting impatient also.
Well, I was listening to Dale Jarrett before, and nobody knows better than the driver. You and he, Rusty, as the race goes on, you're going to be less and less willing to give the guy in front of you a shot as it slides back, and the guys are going to be less and less patient. I don't know if there is a safe place to sit right now, because it seems like you could be in the back minding your own business and still get some damage on your race car.
Yeah, I just think for the guys who are in the chase, they're going to have to deal obviously with some very strong non-chase race cars as we close in on 38 laps to go. Martin Truex very strong. Juan Montoya has been strong, qualified on the pole, and Joey Logano. They're going to have to deal with these guys, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all washes out.
Right. One of my big question, guys, when is go time? When is it time to really stand on it?
Well, it's right now for Kevin Harvick.
And stay up there.
Hooked up in that 2-car draft. Andy, I'm wondering, as much as they've had to tape up the nose on that 29 to Band-Aid it, if he's going to be able to stay tucked in that 2-car push with Clint Boyer and try and make a run later.
Well, I think they've got the opening big enough. They were working on that in the pits, but what you worry about is the ductwork being bent behind that. They didn't really get a good look at that, so he may end up having some overheating issues. But, man, this car's still running great after having a lot of damage.
He's up to 10th right now. And remember one thing, go back to April 2003. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won this race with a damaged race car.
Yeah, they did a nice job of repairing that, but I tell you, he's going to have to do a masterful job of driving when it comes down to the end here to get himself up, be it somewhere inside the top 10.
You can see he's picked up 12 spots since the restart. Meanwhile, up front, it is Martin Truex Jr. with Juan Pablo Montoya, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, and Matt Kenseth. That's right, Kenseth stayed out, got the wave around, got back on that lead lap, and here he is. As we've got a quick moment, we've caught up with Jeff Burton. Jamie Little has him.
Jeff Burton has been checked and released. And Jeff, you had a fast car. A lot of people wanting to draft with you today. Describe what it was like and what happened out there.
Yeah, we were really fast. We had it worked out where we could push real well, and so a lot of people wanted to get pushed. But that's kind of how our year's gone. I had fast race cars and just can't seem to finish it all. When you push like that, that's bound to happen, and just stuff happens.
Dale Jr. made a beeline. He wanted to run back in there and talk to you. What did he have to say?
Oh, he just apologized for it. He didn't do anything wrong. We just didn't get lined up. It got a little hectic getting into 3, and I think I moved a little bit more than he thought I was going to move, and we just didn't get lined up right. But it won't be the last time it happens today. It might be one of the first, but it won't be the last.
Glad to see Jeff Burton smiling. Led 11 laps today, Marty.
And Jamie, we have debris on the racetrack, and there you can see the net result. That is why we are now under our 4th caution. And that's why we didn't interrupt, because we knew it wasn't anything serious as far as anybody getting into the wall or anything. So good to hear from Jeff, and he's managed to keep his spirits up despite the disappointment. All right, let's go back and we'll see exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looks like Marcus Ambrose been running around out there with that damage. I think that's who that was. It came off of. We saw a bunch of stuff taped on a bunch of cars there, and that's what happens late in this race when you have a few of these wrecks. All this stuff starts falling off. Well, there goes Marcus. It must not have been him.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger will get the lucky dog. That'll give us 33 cars back on the lead lap. And now I guess my question to you guys is, you have 36 laps to go. What do you want to do, crew chief?
Well, as long as I can make it on fuel, I'll just stay out. You know, the guys that are trying to run the back, they'll probably make a pit stop anyway. So this is not a critical decision right here.
No, I think Johnson and Hamlin come get 4 tires and make sure they got plenty of fuel in case this comes down to green-white checkers. They can stay out there and get track position then.
We'll find out what the call will be when pit road is open. As we said, just our 4th caution today. We've only had 13 laps so far under caution, and we have 36 remaining. A total of 9 chase contenders have led this race today among the 24 different leaders that we've had, and we've had a total of 78 lead changes.
I'm amazed at this guy right here, though.
This is. I mean, Harvick is up to the 6th position with all that damage, and we talk about so much with the crew chiefs yesterday that you basically have your race car, whatever it is, when you come, that's it. And let's send it down to Jamie with the 18.
And the 18 was debating whether or not to take 2 or 4. The right side, you see him rolling the tires from the wall. It is going to be 4 tires for Kyle Busch, Dave.
Jimmy Johnson wants to come back down for 4 tires and a load of Sunoco fuel. They're talking about maybe working a little bit more on that right rear, fixing that damage back there as well. Vince?
The 11 car of Denny Hamlin did not take tires. They just took fuel and also 1 round out of the right rear.
That may be one of the few wedge adjustments we've heard about today.
Yeah, usually it's not a handling racetrack, so they don't make a lot of chassis adjustments here.
All right, so Kevin Harvick stays out. Is that a good or a bad decision? Because the other 2 in the top 3 contending places for the chase both came in. We'll discuss that topic when we come back with 35 laps to go here at Talladega. Under our 4th caution gives us time to tell you about the NHRA Las Vegas Nationals tonight at 9 Eastern on ESPN. And then NASCAR Now, the post-race edition tonight on ESPN2 at 11:30 Eastern. The Roundtable tomorrow at 5 Eastern on ESPN2. And the NASCAR Nationwide Series back in action, Texas, noon Eastern Saturday on ESPN2. And then Sprint Cup Series presented by GoDaddy.com next Sunday on ESPN at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. All right, so you're on board with Denny Hamlin. He pitted, as did Jimmy Johnson, but the 29 of Kevin Harvick did not.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake because they've got all that damage in the front, and we saw some of that stuff fly off of another car a while ago. That's what brought this caution out, and this was an opportunity they could have used to come down pit road to fix that car. Doc, why didn't they come down?
Well, Andy, it's a scenario you've seen time and again as a crew chief. Now, Gil Martin wanted him to bring the car in. They wanted to come in and work on the car, like you said, because the car is good, but not good enough by itself. And Kevin wanted to stay on the racetrack and stay near the front. I think there'll be more caution flags, but maybe they'll get him on pit road later. But for now, he sits 6th.
We go back to green flag racing as you finish up, Doc, with Truex, Montoya, Logano, Kurt Busch, Harvick, Kenseth, all up front. Logano giving the 42 of Montoya a push. Truex getting help from Kurt Busch. Boyer and Matt Kenseth have hooked up. Look at Kenseth. There they go. Remember, Kenseth was a look out. That cut it close. Boyer.
Yeah, that was too close right there. Boyer sliding up in front of those guys.
Yeah, he was fortunate. I think Montoya gave him a break, and Logano didn't get in the back of Montoya.
Okay, so we're all breathing again, and this time by there'll be 32 laps to go.
That's a couple tight spots we've seen Boyer in, sliding up in front of the leaders.
You'll find out that those guys won't be quite so courteous here in just a few more laps.
3 wide. That's Denny right there in the middle of it with Kyle Busch. They have finally hooked up, the 2 teammates.
You can see those cowl flaps up there at the base of the windshield. When these cars get really close together, it changes that pressure under the hood. You see them flapping. No big deal.
See David Reagan in the 6. He jumped out trying to get these guys to help push him. Goes back on the lead lap, but they've got better ideas. They want to go straight to the front.
Hamlin and Kyle Busch, they are making a push for the front right now. They're shown in 10th position. Jimmy Johnson all the way back in 28th.
These guys hooked up in practice the other day, and they were able to go a long way. See if they can get all the way to the front.
Now Clint pulls down.
Yeah, I think they're going to go by Boyer, though. I don't think they're going to fall in behind him.
Careful, don't go below that yellow line.
Yeah, the problem was Denny lost his push-in mate right there for just a second. So they're going to have to get hooked back up, and they're going to be in trouble.
Now, Kyle just moved off the bumper because he knew Denny was going to have to do some maneuvering, and you don't want to be doing that with the contact between the bumpers.
So on the high side, it's Kenseth Montoya with Hamlin, Logano right in this mix as well as they're duking it out for 4th.
Yeah, here come the Red Bull cars. Want to get down there. That group on the bottom.
We can let you know that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has just rolled off pit road. There he is. He is back out onto the racetrack.
How about this? Denny Hamlin going for the lead. Looked like he was going to be in serious trouble. His championship hopes are going to be dashed. He was a lap down and nobody really helping him. Now he's got his teammate pushing him right to the front.
And right now, we have 24 different leaders and 79 lead changes. And these two are trying to check out. We've seen this happen several times today.
Well, they have checked out now from this lead pack.
And look at the difference, the swing. Remember what we showed you a while back? Just how fast your fortunes can change right now with Jimmy running in 27th position. Hamlin would like the checker flag right now.
Yeah, you keep those numbers in your mind, but obviously things are going to change here before we get to the end of this race. 29 to go.
Kyle needs to let his engine breathe. Denny will tuck in right behind him. And here they go, trying to pick right up. The 48 has found the 24 as those two have finally gotten together, and they have been talking to each other about helping each other. What's the latest, Dave?
Yes, they were earlier, and then the 48 just recently during this caution talking about when it might be time for them to go. Listen.
If any thoughts come to you here as to how and when as this thing's unfolding, I'm all ears because I'm just going by my gut as well. Typically, we're getting cautions around 177. You know, we just got to be wise. I think, you know, if we just start thinking about 174, 175, start thinking about easing your way up there slowly.
That's about 15 laps from now, and as you noted, Marty, the 24 is back there with him. He's got teammate help.
Well, and Chad is remembering history. The big one on lap 175 or later in each of the last 5 races here at Talladega.
Well, it's just the chances are so much greater when you get into that part of the race with 10 or 15 laps to go that everybody's pushing and shoving, and it's just almost impossible not to have one.
You see only 3 cars. Now 2 cars are on that inside line, and we've sort of gotten back to single file right now with Kyle Busch running up front, Denny Hamlin second, Kenseth third, Montoya, Logano rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, but I like those guys' idea of that strategy of wait until somewhere inside of 15 to go. You've got plenty of time. We've seen how quickly 2 cars get hooked up together. I wasn't sure that Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson were going to be on the same page of helping each other, but it looks like maybe they're ready to do that when the time comes.
They're running 27th to 28th right now. 4 seconds behind the race lead. 27 to go. It is not over yet at Talladega.
Energy Juice 500 at Talladega is brought to you by The Legend of Talladega. Watch the film that by Terry Gilliam featuring David Arquette and Dale Jr. at legendoftalladega.com. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Go to Goodyear.com to learn more. And Bank of America. NASCAR fans should appreciate the speed of our ATMs. No deposit slip, no envelope, quick and easy.
Back here at Talladega, we're glad that you're with us. This has been going fast and furious here lately. Just like April, where we set records 29 and 88 all-time marks. We're at 24 and 81 right now. Kyle Busch is out in front of Denny Hamlin, with Matt Kenseth, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Joey Logano rounding out your top 5. We have a total of 33 cars on the lead lap. First car, 1 lap down, is Tony Stewart. At one point, he was 2 down and all but out of this race. Now, the 1 car of Jamie McMurray is on pit road. Damage on the right side, and we can show you what happened. It happened during the break.
He was involved in an earlier caution with Jeff Burton, where Burton got into the right front of his car. And then here, after they've been on pit road and fixing it, it looks like he may have gotten the right front flat, went up there and pounded the wall.
Yeah, and the second hit was after the safer barrier. So no give there, and so that's why they are on pit road. So a tough day for Jamie McMurray as Kyle Busch leads another lap.
Looks like they're content to let those Gibbs cars right up front right now.
Well, I think everybody's kind of regrouping here, kind of catching a breath and saying, we know this is going to get crazy here before long, so let's let it go as far as we possibly can here single file, and they'll all get their nerve and get ready to go again.
Jamie McMurray is pulling back out onto the racetrack. We can tell you the 81 lead changes, now officially the second most in NASCAR series history. As this train of cars continues to roll on, not a lot of bump drafting at this stage. Although there, did you catch a glimpse down low, the 24 and the 48, or is that the 16?
16,
yes,
yeah.
Greg Biffle. I was expecting to see the 48.
And
whoa,
now
Mark Martin comes down.
A little late.
Look out.
A little late.
And that's going to cost Mark a few spots because now he's hung out.
What did I do wrong?
Yeah, right idea, just wrong time.
Well, if Gordon was going to help Jimmy Johnson, something got mixed up in the communications because Johnson's still back in 26th.
Yeah, but look at him go.
Jeff is flying. He's now 16th and climbing.
You can see Biffle's gotten off of him there for just a minute, though. That's going to hurt him. It looked like a little debris flying back there. It may have just been tape off of somebody like Kevin Harvick's car.
See Bobby Labonte in that group right there. He's on the lead lap. Joe Nemechek, too.
Bobby's shown in 21st position. Nemechek in 18th. A little further back, top of your screen, there is the Lowe's 48, a side-by-side with Mark Martin. Meanwhile, up front, you've got Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and Matt Kenseth. Let's go back a little bit further, check in on Kevin Harvick. He's in the 9th position right now, and there's a good view of his nose.
It actually looks better than I thought it would look at this point. I think he's actually lost a little bit of the tape that was on the front of that.
Doc, what's the latest you're hearing down on pit road?
He has lost some of the tape, and he has a big dent in the front of those. Let me show you what they're going to try to do. Kevin said, I can hang on, but I can't go anywhere. So if they get a caution flag, they're going to come in, and they're going to bolt this on the front of the car to try to take that dent away and let some of the air go over the nose of the car and down across the hood. They think that will allow Kevin to pull out and maybe make a move. Right now, he's just hanging on for all he can to stay in position.
So he's hanging right now, as we said, in the 9th position. This time by now, we'll have 19 laps to go here at Talladega.
Yeah, his problem's going to come when we get inside of 10 laps and everybody starts hitting that go button. See, he's not going to be able to get out and go. He's going to have to find somebody to try to push him.
Well, but there's one thing you got to remember. The last green flag stretch at Talladega in the last 14 races, 9 laps or less. So you've got a good odds-on bet. You're going to get at least one more caution.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that here. This is just kind of like the calm before the storm, boys.
Everybody's been wondering if and when we are going to have the big one. It looked like it was going to be when Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. got into the wall, but it was only those two at that time. As you can see right now, everybody pretty much in line with Kyle Busch leading the way. Kyle has now led a total of 14 laps. The most laps led by any one driver today is Dale Earnhardt Jr. He's led 24 laps out of the 170 that we've run. bit further back, about 6th and 7th spot. Martin Truex Jr. and Kurt Busch are in line. Let's get an update on those two from Dave Burns.
Kurt Busch rides in 7th with an undamaged race car. He said after final practice yesterday, the 2-car draft, so dangerous, yet so potent. And the 56 car right in front of him, Martin Truex Jr., that's the guy that he thinks he can go to the front with. They've talked about it. That's the plan. They're not there yet, though.
Kurt tucked up right underneath him right now. Meanwhile, here we come by the tri-oval again. Over the stripe, Kyle Busch will now lead another lap. And with 17 to go, everybody starts to wonder, including all of us, when is go time?
Yeah, it's going to depend on who decides to pull out here. And as we look back there at Kevin Harvick, right behind him is Elliott Sadler. They're good friends. Elliott drives some nationwide races for him, looking to drive for him next year. So Harvick's probably got a pretty good pusher there if it comes down to it.
But Harvick said that he can't really go by himself or even out there. Let's get an update from Doc.
Yeah, you talk about Harvick. He knew that Elliott Sadler would be a good friend behind him there, so he feels like he's very comfortable right now. But how about giving a call to the driver of the 19 car, Elliott Sadler? Now, his crew chief is Todd Parrott, who won here twice with a driver by the name of Dale Jarrett. This morning, Todd said, Elliott reminds me a lot of DJ. He knows how to draft. He knows when to draft. He knows what his car will do. He works all day to find out what the car will do and when to use it. And the last time Todd was here and won, his driver, Dale Jarrett, waited until the final lap to make his move and led that lap but won the race.
And if I remember correctly, that was October of 2005.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just have to be lucky instead of good. We were all right, but I got pretty fortunate that day. Somebody here today might get pretty fortunate and find themselves in that position.
All right, man, let's go. Do it now. Do it now. Let's go.
Uh-oh, sounds like Chad says go.
Yep, sounds like the 48 is going to start going to the front.
Okay, so keep your eyes because Jimmy and Jeff are back together, 21st and 27th.
47?
There they are. So when we thought Jimmy or Jeff might be leaving him, all of a sudden they are back together, and here they go.
It's pretty early, but
all right. I don't know. I think they're about right.
You do?
Yep. Not saying they got to go all the way to the front here, but they can get themselves in a position to get up. See, there's a gap there. The 47 was leading this, so now they've got themselves back to a position here. They might fall in line for just another lap or two.
Or they might get a big push of momentum in that hole. Just carry it onto the front.
15 laps to go. Biffle leaves Paul Menard. Menard now slides up in front of Biffle. The 24 and the 48, you heard the call. It's time to go.
Yeah, and I like Jimmy following Jeff right here. Jeff knows how to win these races. Not that Jimmy doesn't, but Jeff Gordon's been very successful here in the past.
Menard pulls out. Biffle follows him. There goes Carl Edwards with Brad Keselowski. What a pair that is.
Jeff was going to start it, man. Whenever you boys are ready, let's roll. York.
Well, we asked about go time. You got your answer.
You know, other than the crash with Keselowski and Edwards, they were good partners. When Keselowski won that race, they almost brought it back to the line. Edwards did, but got a big push from Keselowski, and he's doing the same thing here.
They tuck back in for now.
You can see Gordon and Jimmy Johnson have got themselves kind of boxed in back there for a minute.
Now they pull down.
Still have plenty of time to get there, though.
That's Sam Hornish right in front of the two of them.
See, Jimmy jumps back up in line, leaves Jeff's hanging down there with the 77, Sam Hornish.
Look out, Marcus Ambrose. Awfully close to the 48.
Maybe going to get a good push from Brad Keselowski right here.
Yeah, Keselowski and Edwards got separated.
Yeah, I think he's going to let Jeff Gordon back in there if he wants that spot. No, now's the time to jump down there on Gordon's bumper.
And here he goes.
And there goes Jimmy. Meanwhile, let's check in back up front because look who's pushed their way up there. Paul Menard and Greg Biffle.
Yeah, Menard's going for the lead right here.
Yeah, Biffle's really pushing hard. I don't know how long, much longer he can do this. They've been hooked up almost 3 laps now.
There's Denny Hamlin side by side. He's lost the 18, though.
Yeah, Hamlin's in trouble right now. He's going to have to slide up in front, see if Logano lets him in that hole.
Joey does let him in. We're going to have our 25th different leader this time by on the right side. Jimmy and Jeff have gotten back together. 80-second lead change. 12 laps remaining. and all of us are basically holding our breath.
Here they come, 24 and 48 on the bottom.
Pushing hard. Jeff Gordon
to the lead.
Jimmy Johnson in tow.
Pushing outside 2. Out.
That's impressive. He said go. Chad says go, and there they went.
Push, man. Get too far, too wide. Or you're clear.
Now can they stay there?
That's the problem. Yeah, they might have got there a little sooner.
Jeff has the most restrictor plate wins of all time with 12 of them.
Don't say that now. You said it was about right.
Well, I didn't realize they could get there quite that fast.
Yeah, this time by there'll be 11 laps remaining.
We may be blowing up.
Uh-oh. Is that Jeff? Yeah, he says he might be blowing up. He's pulling down out of the way.
Uh-oh.
So we're blowing up. We are blowing up.
Okay, so Jeff Gordon is going to have to leave his dance partner.
Here comes Harvick pushing his teammate.
So Harvick with that damaged front end.
You know, but he needs a pusher behind him.
Yep. And boy, if he's out in front like that, it's got to be like a brick wall cutting through that air.
That charge to the front by Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon could have just overturned those engines past a point where it may have caused damage to it.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's out in front of Kenseth, Boyer, Montoya, and Menard. And how about the race winner decided by a last lap pass in 6 of the last 10 and 17 total. And it looks like we may have it happen again.
Yeah, and I can assure you, you don't want to be the leader on the last lap of this race. It's nice to be out there, but if Jimmy Johnson will take finishing 2nd, 3rd, 4th, or 5th in this race. He'd like to be there coming to get the checkered flag. Not sure he'll have that opportunity, though.
Here comes Boyer with Montoya pushing. Down the backstretch, and now Montoya leaves him.
I don't understand that.
Well, I think he just lost contact with him for just a second because he gave him such a big push. He knew he needed to get back in line or he was going to take the risk of losing a lot more spots. David Reagan trying to help Harvick go back towards the front. I don't know if Harvick's got just enough car to be able to do that. He's doing a fantastic job with what he's got.
All right, as we get ready here, this time by 9 laps remaining, how many real friends does Jimmy Johnson have out there?
Oh, 0. Yeah, he lost his main man. That was Jeff Gordon right there.
Here comes Kyle Busch down low again. He's got help from Denny Hamlin.
Look at Michael pushing the 77 here.
We saw those two earlier in the race together. Sam Hornish has had a good day today. Here comes Martin Truex down the middle as well.
See a big bump by there from Michael Waltrip.
If that had been in the corner.
Oh, well, you know what? I mean, he's experienced. He knows what he can do and what he can't. Got to stay off that right rear, though. He's going to send him to the front, though.
Here they come. Sam with the 55 in tow. Jimmy Johnson giving Boyer a push on the high side.
Yeah, Jimmy's going to have to be really careful here, though. It's easy to run your car hot up there in the front, too.
This time by 8 laps remaining here at Talladega. Jimmy still tucked in behind Boyer.
If Michael Waltrip can stay in this position a little bit longer than others, he's not racing for anything except to come here and try to win this race.
Caution is out on the racetrack. We have debris on the track.
Man, debris, sorry.
And there it is.
That's too bad, man. That was a race developing right there.
Yeah. Still with
a lot of
tire. Yeah, you can see it everywhere.
A lot of pieces. So obviously somebody's damaged vehicle. And I'm looking at the right front of Joe Nemechek as he has just pulled back out onto the racetrack. And we're wondering maybe if he had cut a tire and that was his debris.
Well, that changes a lot of things right here.
Joe just got back out in time. He is going to stay on the lead lap, 32 cars. And guess who's going to get the lucky dog?
Not Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart. 2 laps down. All day long. He has not been a factor in this race. And now all of a sudden he's going to get one more shot.
Yeah, he'll come get tires for sure. Andy, I was going to ask you, how far back is it going to be before they start hitting pit road?
Well, that'll be, your tires aren't going to help you much here. And really, if you feel like you're in a pretty good spot, I'd stay out there. And if you have the people around you that you want to be pushing you or you want to draft with.
Yeah, you'd say that, but as a driver, I know that if you more grip that you have, the more moves you can make. On worn tires, you just can't push and get pushed as hard as you can with those fresh tires.
Question. We went 32 extra miles the on-schedule distance back in April. Does everybody need fuel? Is there enough in that tank if we have to go 3 green, white checkers?
Well, at this point, you see that there's very few laps left. There's a good chance we'll go over a 1 green, white checker here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, who are 17th and 18th, are going to be pitting. I don't think, Jimmy Johnson's going to stay out, as we just heard. I think the guys up in the top maybe 8, 9 positions, maybe even back to 10th or 11th, they may stay. But when you get back further than that, might as well come get some tires. You can make that much up. We saw how quickly the 24 and 48 came to the front.
Actually, even a load of fuel here can help you by lowering that rear spoiler a little bit, so wouldn't hurt you to have a full tank of gas.
So the drama continues to unfold here at Talladega. And just as we mentioned before, in the last now 15 races, we've had a stretch less than 9 laps, as we are now with 6 laps to go, this time by. Pit road is open. Is anybody coming?
I expect to see more come than have so far. Here comes Casey. Is that Casey Kane?
Yeah.
Leading them in?
It is.
That. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin both stayed out also.
Tony Stewart's coming, as you predicted, so is Carl Edwards. Eric Almirola in that mix. So is the 12 of Brad Keselowski, Robbie Gordon. Let's send it down to Doc.
Right side tires going on for Casey Kane. Going to put 4 tires. Why not? And as you said, Andy, put some fuel in it. Get that back end down as much as you can. Casey's had a great run, only his 2nd ever start here in the 83 car. Vince.
Well, the 14 of Tony Stewart has been 2 laps down at one point today. He's coming in for fuel and 4 tires. Going to be back on the lead lap for the finish.
Tony Stewart, boy, the struggles he's had in the chase. Remember running out of gas on the last lap at New Hampshire, the speeding penalty at Dover and Martinsville, the body damage at Charlotte. Would this be a little sweet revenge on all those miscues after coming back, being 2 laps down, if he could somehow get to the front? And we've seen it happen. I mean, we watched Jimmy, how fast he did it in 3 laps.
He could make it all the way to the front. You never know.
So another player in the mix. Right now it is Clint Bowyer with Jimmy Johnson 2nd, Montoya 3rd, Hornish 4th, Matt Kenseth is 5th. And Kevin Harvick is listed in the 13th position, Denny Hamlin down in 18th.
You're going to have Michael Waltrip and Sam Hornish in the same row, nose to tail, so I'd watch for that little duo.
They have teamed up several times today and done very well with it, we might add.
Jimmy Johnson has to like the idea that Sam Hornish, who he's probably seen pushing guys pretty fast all day, is going to line up behind him, and that's provided that Clint Bowyer chooses the inside.
If he chooses the inside, he'll have Montoya pushing.
That's why I think he'll stay there.
Lights on the pace car still on. Joe Nemechek has come back in and gone back out from pit road. And so we've got a full lap. Let's check in with some of the crew chiefs and see what they're thinking, Dave Burns.
Well, and of course, Chad has been talking a lot with Jimmy about that situation with the 24. Had a partner and then kind of lost a partner, but he didn't exactly blow up. So how confusing has that been for Jimmy?
Yeah, we don't really know what happened to 24. I hate that, obviously. We were working really well together, worked well together all day long, but we'll just see what happens here. It's going to be pretty exciting 5 to go from this point right now, 4 when we take the green. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm real happy to be here at the end of the race. Jimmy's done a really good job. We got a great race car, and it's just nice to be here. It's kind of a sad day with Ed Schull and Hunter, passing away, but unfortunately that's life. We're going to miss those guys terribly.
All right, we'll wait and see who his new draft partner might be up there now. Vince?
With Mike Ford, the crew chief for Denny Hamlin. Boy, you guys have fought back from a tough set of circumstances. How do you feel about where you sit right now with 5 to go?
Who knows? That's why you run the race, Right now, sitting back there, we do have teammate around us, so the last place you want to be is sitting in the front right now, so I'm sure Denny's going to take every opportunity and every chance he can to get back there.
Thanks, Mike. Doc?
Gil Martin, crew chief for Kevin Harvick. How much does your wounded Chevy have for him? You got anything left in it?
I think it's still got some left. The Realtree car is trying to sneak up through there. Shell's been with us for a long time, so we're glad they're with us. We're going to win another race for them. I think we're going to fan out about 4 wide right here, and you don't know what's going to happen.
All right, and they also may have 3 laps of fuel for a green-white checkered if they need it. Jamie.
And Scott Miller, crew chief interim right now for Clint Bowyer. You guys are leading this race. You don't have your teammate anywhere nearby. What's your plan?
Well, we're
we're just going to do the best we can. You know, there's a lot of racing left to go. 4 laps to go here at Talladega. A lot can happen. We'll just try to keep the BB&T Chevrolet up front. And hopefully 42 or 48 is going to be points racing, so maybe he'll push us and stay right there because our car's fast. So we're hoping for the best here.
All right, they've been talking to the 42. Watch for those two to hook up. Marty?
Okay. If you're in the front couple of rows, what are you thinking there, driver?
Well, yeah, I mean, you're really not in the most preferred positions because I always wanted to be going forward at the end of this race. And those guys are more in a defensive position trying to protect the spot that they're in so they can make something happen at the end. You just got to get on somebody's bumper and hope that you get the right push whenever the time comes.
Lights are out on the pace car as they've come out of turn number 4, heading for the tri-oval. Now the pace car pulls down. The fans on their feet. Time for the engines to roar and the drivers to amp up as we go green.
Back up a little bit. You ready? Start leaders are lane. Green flag, green. Going. Flag. 77's pushing. 40 just a little. Get the 37 on. 5 outside. 5's following you. Side, everybody's lined up. Get over 37's pushing. Third line is starting on the outside. 3 back. 37 fell off you. Inside only. 77 is pushing. 2-1.
Down the back straightaway on board with Jimmy Johnson. And he's got no help right now. Finally, it looks like Martin Truex tucked in underneath him. And then Harvick's right behind Truex.
Yeah, Greg Biffle jumped out of there, and that kind of messed things up as far as having any help.
4 wide, and Denny Hamlin's right in the middle of it.
We see Sam Horse's car just didn't come up to speed.
And Sam's falling back. Up front it is Clint Boyer. Juan Pablo Montoya is giving him the big push. And this time by now, we have 2 laps remaining.
Look at Harvick with this damaged race car.
Or pardon me, 3 laps remaining.
Jimmy Johnson's trying to decide who can be more help to him.
And it looks like
it's going to be Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick.
Not going to be Kevin.
And Harvick gets Runeman to help him, and all of a sudden, Jimmy's getting shuffled.
It's a dangerous spot. You see he's got Jeff Gordon there.
And Gordon
trying to help him.
Gordon doesn't have much power to begin with.
In and out. 2 on the bottom, 1 on top.
This is dangerous for the points leader.
Tony Stewart coming up in there.
Here comes Tony, right behind Mark Martin. Allmendinger cuts down low. This could still be 4 wide.
In and out, in and out.
Here comes Harvick for the lead.
The battle up front continues. Kevin Harvick with Clint Boyer. They're side by side.
Unbelievable. Kevin Harvick can put this car out front.
3 and 4 wide, right side. There's Jimmy Johnson in the mix. On the left side of your screen, the battle for the race lead. Kevin Harvick, could he do it with a wounded race car?
Jimmy Johnson's got hooked up with Paul Menard, who's got a fast car.
Mark Martin pulled down in front of Menard.
Yeah, that kind of slowed their progress.
What about Boyer? Is he going to help his teammate here?
No, he's not thinking about that. He's thinking about winning the race. He's got a fast car on his bumper.
Truex and Logano making a run here.
Yeah, and they're trying to work the... Oh, look out!
That hole closed up quick.
Man, Truex makes a nice save. He got pinched.
White flag.
White flag is out. 2.6 miles to go.
Oh, trouble.
Trouble, the big one. Allmendinger on his lid. Side over side, end over end.
Kevin Harvick's going to win this race.
Yeah, that's...
The race is official because the white flag was displayed, and Kevin Harvick was in the race lead.
He was at the he was in the lead at the start-finish line, but did he continue to have that?
We're waiting for NASCAR to give us official word. They're looking at the camera results and also the timing lines. And it's good to see A.J. Allmendinger getting out of that damaged 43. Here they come around the track under the caution.
Well, Richard Childress is going to victory lane. Don't know which car is going to be there.
The checkered flag is displayed, and I guess the biggest question in our minds right now is it going to be Clint Boyer or is it Kevin Harvick?
They gave you the checker, didn't they? I don't know yet. It's a checker. They ain't said nothing.
The teams are as confused as everybody else.
Well, it's not necessarily confused. They just don't know because
Checking on the video here.
they'll have to determine.
Checking it on the video. One of us wanted.
Either the 33 or the 29 is going to win this, so Richard Childress can be happy.
Right now, we show Denny Hamlin in 7th and Jimmy Johnson in 8th. Now, that is all unofficial. But if this stands with Harvick winning, the top 3 will be separated by 19 points.
See a lot of cars with damage here. The 83, the 82, and the 2.
We were ahead of them the whole
14
straightaway. I think he just said 33-29.
Still not
I don't know what he said.
Still waiting on NASCAR to review all this. They've got loops they go by, then they go by camera angles to kind of decide this.
Hell, one of us did.
When the caution flag flies, it puts a timestamp on every camera and all the loops, so they're reviewing all that
We had
data.
him by just a little bit.
Did we win or not?
They won't say yet. They're just looking at tape.
The one thing we do know, Richard Childress Racing has its 11th win.
Hell, they do a burnout.
At Talladega.
Well, Clint's going to say, okay, I'll go ahead and decide it. And he's pretty sure he won. Kevin said, I'll wait and see.
Kevin put the window net down. He's waiting for the official word just like the rest of us.
I think Clint's trying to help make their decision.
Yeah, I think he's trying to. It's right here in front of the NASCAR people.
Here comes Clint. And the two of them shake hands as best they can with the proximity of the cockpit.
Yeah, I don't know if Kevin Harvick's going to win or going to finish second, but that's an incredible job with a torn-up race car to get himself in that position. And he can thank David Rudiman for helping push him to first or second, whichever it was.
Well, Rudiman all day was helping a lot of people, and he did have a great car. And he will get a big thank you from Kevin Harvick. And what amazes me...
Stop right here and wait.
What amazes me is we talk about
right here.
how we need aerodynamics
right
at
here.
this track, and then there's Harvick proving us wrong.
Right here, man. We don't know yet. They're doing everything.
We're looking over at the NASCAR officials, and they are still examining the scoring rules.
33.
The official word is, it is the 33 of Clint Bowyer. So Bowyer will finish first. Kevin Harvick will be second. David Rudiman will be shown in fourth, with Juan Pablo Montoya third, and Joey Logano unofficially in the top 5. As we mentioned, they're now showing Jimmy Johnson in 8th, Denny Hamlin in 7th.
But the one thing we can be assured of is this points championship is closer first, second, third than what it was when we came in here, because we know that Kevin Harvick finished in front of both the guys that were ahead of him in the points.
Right now, it looks like Denny Hamlin will be 2 points out of first place, and the 29 of Kevin Harvick will now be 34 points out of first place with 3 races remaining. Can it get any better?
Oh, we're going to have a great battle. How about Clint Bowyer in this chase, too? It's going to be his second win of the chase. Had a couple of other opportunities.
In fact, he is the first 2-time winner in the chase races. All right, here is what NASCAR is looking at.
Harvick's going to lead this at the line.
But remember, it is also the scoring loop.
Yes. So he's ahead right here. So it's a matter of when this caution is displayed. And see the trouble here.
And there.
Right there, you see Kevin Harvick just behind Clint Bowyer.
Boy,
that was close.
And the yellow comes out right at that point. And that's how Clint Bowyer wins this race, by a nose. And let's go back and see what happened that actually ended this race.
Hey, Jimmy Johnson got out of shape first there. It saves it. And right behind him, everybody starts getting together. Looks like Tony Stewart forces Allmendinger upside down.
Boy, and that Thank goodness there's safer barriers on that inside wall.
Yeah, and we've seen in past that when something happens behind the leaders that NASCAR's let these guys race back. But obviously this was in an area they would have been racing back to, so they had to throw the caution.
All right, let's talk to Kevin Harvick. How about it, Doc?
Well, Kevin has climbed out of this banged-up car that's all patched up and taped up. First of all, let me ask you on that final lap, did you think you had it won? And there was a lot of discussion between you and Clint Boyer right here.
Yeah, I didn't know when the caution came out, but I thought we had beat him to the line. It was really close. I just got to thank David Rudiman. You know, he pushed me all day, and he was really good behind us, and our car was kind of beat up in the front there. But it was just going to be a drag race there to the end. So we did what we needed to do. We kept it 1-2 in the right house there. And just a great day for RCR, a good day for the points, and just got to thank everybody from Realtree and Chevrolet.
As damaged as this car was, how did you get back up there? I heard you say a couple times on the radio, we can get help with the draft, but we can't pull out and go by ourselves. How did you finally pull out and go?
Well, I just attached myself to the back bumper of the 56, and I, you know, as we were shoving our way through there, we knocked a couple of them out of the way and wound up in our lane, and then I backed up to the 00, and we were able to get a good run there. So just a typical Talladega day with a few dents here and there.
You're talking about the points, 34 now with 3 races to go. You're right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we came here to do. We came here to obviously, you know, lead some laps and run up front and try to win the race, and came up one short of that, but we beat the guys we needed to.
What a day for Kevin Harvick. This kind of day here is a kind of afternoon that can win you a championship. Marty?
You're oh so right, Doc. Kiss from wife Delana. And let's go to victory lane. Clint Boyer is there. There he is.
And we have Gatorade flying, being thrown. Clint Boyer, first ever restrictor plate race win. Clint, what was it like that last lap, the back in the fourth, to not knowing, to having your teammate there? I see tears in your eyes.
Yeah, that's the burns. Just unbelievable day. You know, I want to thank ECR, all you guys back to Indian Shop. You're back on top. I'm so proud of you guys. That was an ECR win right there. Kevin coming on the outside, Juan pushing me. I want to thank Juan. I couldn't have done it without him. But the BB&T Chevrolet was strong all day long. Cheerios, Hamburger Helper, Hartford, everybody involved with this thing. Just so happy with everybody. And have second come home second. It was awesome. I want to thank Sprint and all you fans out there. Hell yeah!
Clint, we kept talking about Kevin Harvick and all the damage on his car. You actually had a hole in the front of your car, and they had to spend some extra time and patch it up. How did that change?
Well, you know, I just wanted to, I got into that 47 that was tight back there, and I turned him around and then caught up my teammate. I was sick about it. I didn't know how bad it tore his car up, but as soon as I saw him coming on the outside again, I helped him push back up through there. And just very strong cars, guys in a fab shop, and especially those boys in ECR Engine Shop. Thank you, guys.
What does it feel like? You won at Talladega, Clint.
Feels awesome.
And he won with his interim crew chief, Scott Miller. His crew chief, Shane Wilson, will be back next weekend. Marty?
All right, thank you, Jamie. Richard Childress was part of the very first race here back in 1969. Today, he now becomes the leading all-time winner as an owner with his 11th, and we'll dissect it all when we come back.
The weekend home for the NHRA, the Strip, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's Halloween and crazy things have been happening everywhere. And that's got the full attention of all the Full Throttle Championship contenders. Just 2 races remain. What's going to happen next? A high-speed, low-ET trick-or-treat extravaganza comes to your door tonight at 9 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Another wild finish at Talladega that'll send these thousands of fans away talking and maybe just a tad confused over how the finish works with NASCAR's rules of not racing back to the yellow. Let's go back and just recap how this thing came down for you. Once the leader has taken the white flag in a race, if the caution is called, that's it. The race is over. The field is frozen. NASCAR has a mechanism up in the control tower that links together their videotaping system, their timing and scoring computers, the caution lights on the track, and so on. When the race director pushes the button, all the video cameras are time-stamped, the caution lights are turned on, and if you look, this is the moment that caution was pushed. You see just barely Clint Bowyer ahead of Kevin Harvick at that instant where everything happened, and that's how he won the race by that much. Bowyer, the car on the bottom of the screen at the front there, and Harvick, the guy to his outside.
Good explanation, Al. It's pure and simple. I mean, you see Bowyer leading over Kevin Harvick right there. The caution flag come out. NASCAR pushed a button, and boom, it's over. Bowyer wins the race.
They'll have some good laughs about it. Now, just understand, all the finishing results you see, all the points that you hear are unofficial at this point. NASCAR will go back with that same video mechanism and completely check the scoring of the field. So the 2-point difference between Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin and so on, that may get adjusted slightly pending the confirmation of the final results. Whew. Jimmy Johnson, unofficially, Vince, scored in 8th right now.
Jimmy Johnson brings it home 8th today, just 1 spot behind Denny Hamlin. A good battle between the two of you guys right there at the end. But how would you assess the day in general here at Talladega?
Man, it went really well. Our strategy played out. Cautions kind of fell and didn't help us at the end there. And really, it probably would have, but I don't know what happened on that last restart. Every car behind the 77 abandoned the 77 and myself, and that really we lost our momentum at that point and got us out of sequence. And 56 gave me a great push. And then I had a couple guys trying to block the huge runs that we had coming, and it would get me disconnected from the guy pushing. But all in all, decent day. Wish that we could have finished a little better, but we'll take it.
You and your teammate Jeff Gordon had a great run going too until he seemed to have a bit of a mechanical. Did you think maybe that was going to be the run that pushed you to the winner's circle?
Yeah, we were planning on that all day long, and I was content running second. I just wanted a guy that I could trust, because you can't see out the windshield when you're pushing a car like that, and you need someone that knows how to use their brake correctly to stay on the front. And I thought we had this thing in control. Maybe we got to the front a little early, but I felt like we were both smart enough to hang on to it. And then he thought the engine was blowing up and kind of pulled out of the way so it wouldn't screw up my effort. And in the end, it just ended up being something. I don't know what it was. He didn't have an engine problem.
Jimmy Johnson, 8th today. Good solid run. He's still the points leader. 3 to go.
Well, a lot happened to, with, and around Denny Hamlin today. You finished 7th. You're still second. You're 2 points behind Jimmy Johnson now. But you looked very disappointed.
Well, I don't know. I don't know where we finish or anything like that. But it'll be tight. Obviously, everyone finished, gained a little bit on everyone, and it's hard not to be happy with our day because nobody really gained or lost, and that's what I wanted. I didn't want anyone to get killed in the championship, get lost here at this race. But I wish I could have raced a little bit more aggressive and had a little bit better show. But with our format, you just can't do that. You have to have the safe play, and that's what we had to do today, and got a solid finish. But I hate saying that. I wish we would have been a little further to the front.
What was going through your mind when you got the lap down and had to find some way to come back?
Yeah, I mean, that was tough. And so many cars were going a lap down. It was going to be tough to get the lucky dog. But the pass around and those things helped get some guys back on the lead lap. And we got it back, luckily, a corner from missing the lucky dog right there. And so we were fortunate as far as that was concerned. But it was just, being too lazy back there and not paying attention to what I needed to do.
3 tracks to go. No more Talladega, no more Martinsville, which I guess that's a bad thing, but what are you thinking now championship-wise?
Well, I like our position. I like everyone's position. I like that the championship's now going to be decided on 3 racetracks that the drivers and the teams can control, and let the best man win.
All right, I'd say you broke even today, guys, after what happened earlier in the day.
Absolutely, Dave. And Denny mentioned the 3 racetracks that this championship will be decided upon. They are Texas Motor Speedway, the Phoenix International Raceway, and the Homestead Miami Speedway. If you would like to join us, NASCAR.com/tickets. It's going to be a wild finish to the Chase for the Cup 2010. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway with our post-race coverage after another wild finish at the world's fastest speedway. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, unofficial results and things subject to shuffle and change. Already one adjustment has been made. Where Jimmy Johnson was originally listed as finishing in 8th position, now he's being shown as finishing in 7th. Where Denny Hamlin was originally listed as finishing in 7th, now he's being posted as the 9th place finisher. So the points unofficially, pending further review, going forward, 14 between the top 2 with 3 races to go. That's still plenty close. And again, the reason for all this, the mayhem at the finish line, coming down to the stripe at the white flag and beyond.
Tell you what, when I looked out the back of the pit dirty here, A.J. Allmendinger was going upside down, end over end, right past us, Brad. It was unreal. See him flipping right now, hitting the inside wall. Going to go around a couple times, land on his feet, and take a look up there on the racetrack. Clint Bowyer, just ahead of Kevin Harvick, wins by a nose at that point right there.
Yeah, we see AJ gets turned a little bit sideways here.
And they were just all bouncing off each other in his pack.
Where does it go? Right here. He gets turned sideways just a little bit. He's in that pack. 82 gives him a little bit of a help.
Looked like maybe Casey Mears.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
Contact with
Eric
Casey
gets
Mears.
under that race car and it just goes to tumbling, and a hard lick upside down, but he walks away safely. And the thing that's interesting, now I know why Jimmy Johnson had such a good vibe in his voice, because he further enhanced his point lead, and now I see where Denny Hamlin's disappointment comes from. He fell further behind.
And at the time moment where the caution was called, here you see Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Denny Hamlin. And that's how they'll be scored, 7th, 8th, and 9th at the end of this race.
Well, you know, it's incredible. They talk about how close the truck race was. The checkered flag fell 10 minutes ago, and these guys are still passing one another. Right. I mean, you're just about to finish.
That's funny.
How are they doing that?
So after Clint Bowyer was doing burnouts at the start-finish line, and Kevin Harvick was sitting nearby saying, well, was it he or was it me? It's Bowyer that gets to celebrate. But still a great day for Harvick. He wound up in second place.
Great day for Childress.
Recapping some stories we started the day with. The big one. Due respect to Jeff Burton and A.J. Allmendinger that both had kind of hard crashes, we didn't really have the big one today.
We never did see the big 20-car crash like we said. Yeah, like you said, there was a couple big wrecks, but there were isolated incidents. We didn't see the 20-car one like I thought we would see, at least with 15 to go. Guys, it just didn't happen.
87 lead changes.
Outstanding racing today. These guys are the best race car drivers in the world. They kept their fenders clean all day. Good, aggressive racing. It was a fun watch for all of us.
And one of the more dramatic moments of the day, Ray, when Chad Knaus came on the radio and said to Jimmy Johnson, okay, let's go now, with about 14 laps to go.
I told you they've been sandbagging all year. They do that. You know, when you can come on there and go, and the guy goes from the back to the front end, and would have stayed up there longer if Jeff Gordon didn't have his problem. Would like to know exactly what happened.
That's
I thought his motor blew up. Jimmy Johnson might have gained more points had not been for that happening.
Because when he said go, Alan, I mean, they were like 25th on the racetrack.
They went.
They took off, and in 3 laps, they took the lead. Amazing.
Man, it went too quick.
But Clint Bowyer stayed up front for quite some time at the end of that race, and you saw the crazy finish. He was able to be in front of Kevin Harvick when the field was frozen and the race was scored official, and Bowyer wins by that much. And so we move on now with 3 races to go. What happened to Jeff Gordon? The full official rundown of scoring, so on. Lots more still to come in our post-race coverage from here in Talladega Sports Center, following immediately as we wrap things up and bring you more from here at the World Center of Racing. Carl Edwards is over here in the wings of the pit studio somewhere. He'll be joining us in just a few minutes on our Sports Center coverage as well. Later on tonight, the NHRA Las Vegas Nationals, 9 Eastern ESPN. NASCAR Now, the late night wrap-up tonight at 11:30 Eastern ESPN2. It is DJ, Ray, and Ricky on our Monday Roundtable, 5 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN2. Then next weekend, the Nationwide Series at Texas, noon Eastern, Saturday, ESPN2. Note the earlier start. And on Sunday, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, our coverage presented by GoDaddy.com. That's 3 Eastern next Sunday, ESPN. Wow, what a wild one at Talladega today. They'll be talking about this one for a while. We'll be talking about this one for a while, as Sports Center is next, including more post-race coverage from here in Alabama. Clint Bowyer is your winner of the wild card race in the chase.